Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wargaming.net League North America. I'm James Rockstar Grief, joined alongside by Randall Ruko Holcomb. Today is match day 18, the last day of the regular season.
And oh, do we have some matches in store for you. But before we get into that, let's check out a recap from the matches till now. And looking at the standings, Elevate, formerly Apex, has secured first place and will be joining us at our season finals in Burbank on April 8th. Dare Rising, currently in second, might be overtaken by Eclipse, depending on tonight's results, as well as Top Tier could be changing their fate from fourth place, where they are currently tied with Aquatic M60s. 07, another team that plays tonight, has no chance of raising or changing their stakes, as well as Rival, who's effectively ended their season.
And that brings us on to tonight's schedule, where we are going to watch Rival Simple Tankers take on Top Tier, and then 07 up against Eclipse later on tonight. Two matches that should be fascinating in their own rights. However, we'll have to see what happens with this first match, because Top Tier at this point, you know, nothing that can really switch between any of these teams except Top Tier really trying to play, 07 trying to play Dream Crusher. For Eclipse.
Yeah, because right now it's all about those finals. It's all about that journey there, because it's the last day of the regular season. Teams are fighting for playoffs, also over their chance for the second place, which is still not completely solidified.
Speaking of our live final, tickets are now available at the Eventbrite page that should be linked down below, right down there. So make sure you guys get in there. Slots are unlimited. We'll have free t-shirts, prizes, codes. The Chieftain Dance Ute will all be there. It's going to be a great time here in our studio in Burbank. So make sure you guys get your tickets well ahead of time. Love to see you all down here.
Yeah, we'd love to hang out with you guys. So please come on out. And also join us on Twitter and Facebook as well. At WGLNA, using the hashtag WGLNA. And of course, tell us all about your fantasy. That's where we all get updates from the teams and all that. So don't forget to reach out there. So Rockstar, why don't you go over fantasy a little bit?
Yeah, so Fantasy League, WGL.GG/Fantasy WGLNA. Pick your best starting 7, compete against Randall, myself, the whole ESL staff, everyone in there. You should note that today is separate from Thursday in terms of prizing. Today is the last day that will count towards the regular season standings for Fantasy. Thursday will have its own individual prizing, though, still. So make sure you're on there for both days.
Yep, and of course, on before every single show, we go live onto Facebook as well. So don't forget at WGLNA using hashtag WGLNA and Facebook.com/WGLNA. Check us live where we give you tips and tricks about fantasy and about just general things about what's going to go on with that day's show that we might not be able to talk about here. Now, one thing we also love to talk about is the question of the day. The question of today is going to be, what is the ugliest tank in World of Tanks? This could be any tier, anything. For example, my choice is the Maushin, a newer tank, and to me, the Maushin looks like someone at Ford in about the early 2000s got a hold of a mouse blueprint and said, you know what, we could make this sportier. And just like the Taurus, oh God. Just oh God. Rox, what's your ugliest tank?
I got to go with the Churchill GC still. It looks like that 4th grade science project that you did the morning of, tried to turn it in. It's kind of like, put this gun on there. We want a bigger gun than the Churchill has, but they didn't really think things through, and it just turned into this hideous-looking monstrosity that it is now.
Yeah, just like gun. Top. Okay, good. Teacher, don't fail me. Yep. That's exactly what it looks like.
Let me pass your class. Let me get out of here.
I see what you're talking about. All right, so that's it for social and everything. Guys, don't forget to tweet at us using that hashtag so we can find your tweets and feature them here on the broadcast. But let's move on to the first match. It's going to be Rival versus Top Tier. And we're going to start talking, Rox, about Rival.
Yeah, this will be Rival's last match in the Gold League unless they requalify during the Gold League qualifiers next season. Jay Smooth, this is going to be his last face-off ever. He's been around as long as this league has been around, as well as Pub Whisper, Zakum, Commander J, they've all been around for a very, very long time. So it is sad to see them go. However, last couple seasons, writings has been on the wall.
Yep. And then top tier, a team that's actually contrasting rival, is coming back. Rude Awakening threw this roster together at the beginning of the season, saying, you know what, we can do better. And they have.
He saw a lot of talent out there. He saw a lot of potential that he could mold into his team. And so he took those players and he's turned it into top tier. And now they're sitting in the playoffs, ready to start challenging some of these teams going into our live finals.
Yep. And now looking at the map choices for the series rival. It's going to start with Himmelsdorf. Then we go to Ghost Town, Prokhorovka, Mines, and the tiebreaker today is Ghost Town. Brox, what do you see in the maps?
Himmelsdorf is actually one of Rival's best maps. However, top tier have a spectacular record on it as well. Ghost Town definitely goes to top tier, and past that, I just don't see anything for Rival that really says that they have a solid chance to get in it just based upon maps.
Yeah, so right now, expectations, the prediction looks like it leans towards top tier. Will Rival be able to, rival that at all? Make anything happen there? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But maybe the captains have an idea about that. We'll be speaking with them on the face-off.
Which is going to happen right now.
All right, gentlemen, welcome to the face-off. We're going to be joined by Jay Smooth, who is already prepping for his retirement, and Rude Awakening. Gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast. We'll start off with Jay Smith. Do you need a minute, or are you good? You good here? Okay, he's here. He's here.
Guys.
That's
Not
cool.
bad.
That's cool. That's cool. Jay Smith, since you just got here, ugliest tank in World of Tanks. What is it?
Ugliest tank. A Tog driven by Rockstar.
All right, that works. Perfect. All right, Rude
Yeah.
Awakening. Your answer.
I think you guys are forgetting about the M3 Lee.
Ooh, good
Yep.
choice. Why? What's
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that thing doesn't have little portholes for men to shoot out of the tank with.
Wasn't that the idea Patton came up with after that Lee?
I have no idea. That thing is just ugly.
All right. Well, I guess yeah, it is pretty ugly.
All right.
Actually. Okay.
Yeah, I'll start this one off with Rude. So I asked the same question last week to other teams on Thursday. Now that you've had the whole season under your belt, did this season go how you thought it would?
More or less, I think we finally made some strides in the last few days, few weeks. We really are getting a little closer together as a team. We have now communication improving, but it's we're still taking it day by day. Another month, if we get to practice for another month before the LAN finals, that would be really, really beneficial for us because the rate of improvement is quite high.
Okay.
Noted, certainly. And then Jay Smooth, sir, this is your last face-off, so let's get straight to it. What do you have to say for you and your team?
It's it. It's over. It's over for quite a few of our guys, actually. Pub Whisper, he's following me out the door. Zakum, this will be our last time playing together, first time or since season 1.
Yeah.
Those 3 guys have been around forever, and then Executus right after that, kind of talked to them. I've got my list up here of a lot of people I want to thank, since I know there's not a lot of time, and I know I probably left some names off of that list, but they'll be there, and I think a lot of them know who they are already.
Yeah, I can see a few. Is that Tofu Clutch?
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to check that one out later. Okay. All right, gentlemen. Any final words? Any more questions for Rude, Brox?
No, I think about covers it.
All right, Rude. Any final words before we send you guys off?
Have a good game, guys, and you guys were the best. I
right.
loved watching you guys play for all these years.
And it looks like Jay Smooth is going to be busy taking a call. So, Jay, thank you for joining us, Jay Smooth. It's been wonderful having you. We'll see you guys on the battlefield. He's gone. He just took a call and he's gone. Actually, that could have been something serious. No, he's out. Gone golfing. Yeah, he's done. He's gonna pull the classic president. You're just done with your job. Might as well go golfing for the next few weeks and say,
Mic drop and walk away.
yeah, just throw it out there. I'm gonna miss Jay Smooth.
He's been around for a long time.
I'm gonna miss him a lot. He's one of those guys. He's got the personality. He's got the charisma to keep a team together, to keep people motivated, and it's hard to find people like that. So, Jay Smooth, thank you. And now we'll see how they play, because we'll get one more chance to go over the maps, and then we'll get to see battle number 1 between rival and top tier.
Yeah,
And let's shake off a little bit of that and just get straight to it.
first map is going to be on Himmelsdorf.
Yeah.
So once again, as I said earlier, this was one of the better maps that Rival have. However, if you look at it right now on the season, top tier's record on it is actually not as great as I thought it would. They're sitting down at about 40% on the season.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little bit of an opening for Rival.
Yeah, because right now what we're actually looking for fantasy-wise, if you're following your points, top tier said that they might be playing Sublime Banana and JoJo Jackie today, which means if it starts off and Rival gets a win or two, you're not going to see probably top tier deviate from their main lineup.
Right.
But should Himmelsdorf start off with a win twice in a row for top tier?
I think the way to put it is top tier, their main focus is making sure they get the win. And once they feel that they're on track to getting that win, then we may see them, drop some of their main starters and let some of the backup players get some game time in finally.
Yeah, and we'll just be on the lookout for that because we'll see how much top tier varies in their ability to perform when they make those switch ups. Because Rude has always talked about his rosters being very strict. If you are performing in practice, if you're showing up, if you're doing what you need to do, you get to play. But if he's not satisfied with the way you perform in practice, you're going to get benched. And we saw that happen a few times.
It's a very professional attitude, and he just expects them to show up and do their part. And if you don't, then, you ride the pine, as it were.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. There's nothing against that. It's just he's very strict and very, very...
Yeah, some teams get a little bit more lenient about that. They, especially, I remember I'm not going to name names, but in seasons past, there have been a couple players that have been kind of divas, stopped showing up because they felt they were above the team, and then they still started because, the team still felt that they were better than everyone else, even without them practicing. And it's just not a good situation to be in.
Yeah, which is why it's so weird that we're hearing about roster change-ups for top tier, because that's something they don't do. So we'll see how that goes, because we're actually, Rockstar, about to get into battle number 1. We'll see you there.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
And here we go into battle number 1. Rival coming in with 4 mouses, 2 Type 5s, and an Object 252 Defender. Top tier, 250Bs, an IS-4, 2 mouses, a JPE 100, and an AMX 1390.
All right. And opening moves. Looks like this will just be a solid defense, I'm guessing, from top tier. I like the mobility choice with the 50Bs. Wondering, though, if with the mouse meta the way it is, if those 50Bs are going to get a chance to perform.
It depends on how they're utilized. Previously, we've seen them kind of used more as a battering ram tanks that you just bring in with everything else. You drive straight at the other tanks and you empty your clips. And because the tanks normally weren't as well armored, they could pen all their shots consistently, pump out good damage, and get the kills. With the way it's shifted now, the thing that those 50Bs have to utilize to be effective is they need to use their speed, mobility, open up new angles, and not take the head-to-heads. Play the flanking support roles a lot more like they're designed to, rather than the head-to-head brawler.
Yeah, but the problem that we've seen 50Bs run into before, Rox, is you may try to go for those engagements, but you don't have the damage, And then between that many mouse and the Type 5s, you just get evaporated before you can even make enough of a dent.
But take a look at this Defender.
Oh yeah, custom camo. Looks like it's going to decide to play the Rebel. And, well, he's not going to wear the same uniform as everyone else on his team.
Such a good-looking tank, though.
It is, isn't it? It's actually really potent in the right hands. It's kind of like an altered IS-3 or IS-6. You can look at it as a Tier 8.
Well, and for Tier 8, it has a 440 Alpha gun, though. It's so mean-hitting.
Yeah, that's why people are attracted to it. And also, if you play the angles right, you can force bounces, which is one of the things you wouldn't expect in any other tier.
Yeah, if you handle it just like you're playing against an IS-3 or an IS-7, it's not impossible to kill. It's very, very doable, but people kind of panic. They know that gun hits hard, and they jerk their shots off, hit the upper plate when it's not angled correctly. And it can be a little bit difficult to kill, and Flag actually finds a shot towards Muriel. Yeah. He's going to back up into that pocket, not opt for that exchange. That's how tall that mouse is, though. He can see over that fence and towards that IS-4 location down here. Yeah, at A4.
I think the position almost favors the IS-4 because, little HE shell coming in from Knight, actually towards that position. not a bad use of the Type 5. It's also just a pretty tall tank as well. Just about, it's a little taller with the hatch than a mouse. I actually haven't tried to fire in that position towards there. So we'll have to see how that works out.
Delph in the 50B is actually rotating in behind the hill right now, joining Rude Awakening, who's also up there.
Oh wow! It actually doesn't look like Muriel is able to actually spot the tank now firing at him from the hill.
See, and here's the problem with this lineup that Rival have is that they're prone to these sort of flanks. They don't have anything that can chase down 50Bs or bad shots or light tanks. They're committed to doing on the hill. The most mobile tank they have is the Tier 8, and a Tier 8 heavy tank in the Defender.
So I guess the question is, does Rival's going to press forward, right? They can't turn around and try and retreat and
well, they're
try
actually
something else.
set up to kind of deal with that. If you look at the heavy tanks right here, all of them with, well, and now they have the Type 5 over here, which has the HE shell.
Oh, 367 HE into Muriel, but Muriel did get a reply into Zakum for a decent little chunk. So, yeah, this really is a big question of how this is going to play out, because I've never quite seen these angles in play. I've never seen a Type 5.
Well, we've never had tanks in common place that are this tall and can take advantage of that angle.
Yeah, this is the first time. Usually you get much shorter. 50Bs can't really reach over.
Maybe the old Waffenträger off U100, but doesn't have the armor to stand up to that sort of punishment.
It's not tall enough still. That's
the Waffenträger?
The Waffenträger U100?
Yeah, the old Tier 10?
The turret didn't... I don't remember it being that high, was it?
It was about as tall as a mouse.
Is it? Okay. I'm mistaken. Oh, and
but it was also soft, though, so...
Yeah, and look at that. Executus and the mouse almost down to half hit points. This is good for top tier. Top tier's got a solid defense they're holding on to right now. And here we go. Shells going out towards J-Smooth. A little miss from Muriel. And I think top tier could do with a few more solid connections before Rival is able to approach. And that should set them up for a solid defense. If they're not able to do that, then top tier might be in a little trouble, because Muriel's taking his second shell to the turret in HE.
50B's getting good shots on these tanks crossing, including onto a known one in the Defender. So they push there onto Cap, and Rival already paying a huge toll to get in position on this Cap.
Yeah, they're now about 1,000 hit points, I think, right below their opponent. Not a huge loss yet. And we'll have to see how top tier responds as two mouse stack up with a Defender behind them to hold the Cap. Now, with this, I'm expecting top tier should be able to deal the damage, but if they don't do it right, this is where Rival has a chance.
Shots going back and forth. Commander J taking a lot of damage, but they know he's going to go down. Just a matter of when. And now all three mouses on Cap, trying to block for that Defender. Muriel's going to put one with a kill shot here into Commander J.
There we go. Solid connection on the side of a turret, and we can just keep moving on out. And I like these moves from Muriel. And look at that, Zakum in the backfield looks like he catches fire, burns down to 49 hit points off screen, and he will be just limping along. Solid defense right now from top tier. It's looking like it's slowly but surely working its way towards a win.
Even unknown one has been reset now at this point, so top tier firmly in control. Pompous pushing in here, gets a penetrating shot onto that mouse turret of J-Smooth for 1,000 damage, and this is just cleanup at this point for top tier.
Yep, just give it a minute or two and should be all done. Muriel's just trying to sneak shells in between his allies. And yeah, that's going to be a solid hold from top tier. Rival picks an incredibly heavy lineup. Tons of damage, tons of armor, tons of hit points, but top tier chewed through it with solid positional play.
Yep, and people were saying that the 50B meta is dead, but still can be very practical if you do it right. And top tier showing exactly how they took map control. They got the guns in position early, they used them to punish, they used them in supporting roles, and they didn't use them in the head-to-head roles that we traditionally see them, and they're making the adaptations just fine.
Yep, it's working out pretty well. So that's probably going to be it for battle number one. I think top tier learned a few things about this battle, especially seeing the Type 5s where they were and catching return fire. Muriel got to show us a little bit of how that goes down and some of the intricacies of a fight from positions that you just don't see in pub play, right? You don't see that happen in pub play at all. So top tier is going to take battle number one. I think we can say that was well in hand. They lost, I think, only one tank.
Yeah, and looking at the positions, they were in position well ahead of time pretty much every step of the way. I didn't see anything there that made me worry about top tier or where they were. And they only lost Rude Awakening, who yellowed in after the Type 5s, which a 1390 versus a Type 5 is not a trade that's ever going to go well for them.
Yeah, that's about as one-sided as you can get. And the defender didn't really get to do a whole lot that battle. I think that was one of the things that I wasn't quite sure about. The defender didn't even fire a shell.
Well, he wasn't ever really even given a chance to. He had to sit here behind these mouses trying not to get reset. He took damage on the cross, and then even then Exits found that shot over the front of Flak there onto him, got the reset.
Yeah, because the turret on the defender is kind of actually one of the weak points that people don't think is a weak point, right? Because when you fire at the Shuka, that's the pike nose at the front, you're going to bounce a lot of shells. That's actually pretty bouncy. But what you need to watch out for is actually firing at the turret and paying attention to those angles, because hit the wrong spot, yeah, you're going to auto-bounce.
An extremely soft turret that can go through, even with regular AP shells, especially when you have a high caliber gun like one on the mouse.
Yeah, which means that when you bring a mouse and you try and shield a defender, it's not going to work out so well because all you have to do is hit the turret and you're going to be just fine.
Unlike an IS-7, which has an extremely thick turret.
Yeah, and looking at the post-battle stats, those 50Bs that I was skeptical of earlier.
So much damage this game if you look at it though. Exits doing 4,600, Executives 4K. And then you still had X-Soldier on 3,900. It was just damage galore out this game, and the fantasy points were also pretty strong as well. Even Real only did 2K damage, 55 fantasy points, strong start.
Yeah, and then you got to look at the mouse performance from everybody in Rival. I didn't see the connections you needed to have. There needed to probably be some stronger positioning from Rival in order to kind of blunt the attack or counterattack that you were going to see from top tier. Because that didn't happen, well, Rival didn't stand much of a chance. They got chewed up. So that's going to be battle number one. Rival on attack. Attacking is generally not going to go so well, so why not wait for defense? Let's see how Rival can do on defense this time.
Yep, and even the JPE of Pompous did 3K damage that game, so he was able to get solid shots off against the mouse. And then the Type 5, outside of getting Rude down, they weren't really able to be effective. They didn't have those Type 5s in position to keep firing off shots. And that's the thing about that Type 5 is those HE shells, well, they don't do a whole lot of damage if they don't pen.
Yeah.
Having the rate of fire to just keep lobbing those HE shells against those armored targets can surely work them down over time. And they just weren't given that opportunity this game.
Yeah, because the way the Type 5 seems to succeed when you try to use time and angling of your armor to your advantage. So if you want to reverse angle in an IS-4 or in a mouse, you're going to have trouble. Which, speaking of mouse, you've got a 6 mouse strat and a KV5 from Rival. I think this might be one of the highest hit point strats you can possibly bring, Rox.
It's got to be up there.
20K! That's 20K hit points.
Almost 2,100 hit points. Meanwhile, top tier bringing a 113, a 50B, 3 mouses, a JPE, and a 1390. So both teams bringing a whole lot of HP and firepower.
Is this the highest hit point round we've had all season?
It has to be up there.
I think it is.
The only thing I think that could rival this possibly is 2 tier 9 mouses, possibly. What's the HP on those?
Maybe
Is
not.
it like 2,500, I think?
We'll have to check back and see if
Because
that's
2,500, that'd be 5K. You swap the mouse and that out. It's about even, so.
It's close. I think this might be the highest one that actually counts, though. And so a 5 mouse strat means you can put a mouse anywhere you want.
And Rude tracking himself on that opening scout run.
That'll happen. New physics and all. And this will take a hot minute for the guys from Rival to figure out what they're doing. And you know what, Rox? Let's actually take a listen in with top tier. I want to know what's going on with them and what they're thinking looking at this strat and this many hit points going down on the battlefield.
Lighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even think he can pen a mouse, can he?
I
He
think you
might. No,
probably
he
did.
No, I don't think. Yeah,
No,
he
he
has
can't.
211
It is not possible to
or
pin him out.
216 or something.
But we can just pin him literally anywhere.
I'm reloading.
What the fuck's the point of bringing a KV5?
I don't see anything at
Most
A5.
HP, my dude.
Yeah,
It'll force us to kill him.
An IS-3 would be 3 if we slight high roll. Shit. Oh,
They're all playing the 1, 2, 3.
yeah. We need to just have our mouses go out and just kill this KV5 like right now.
I don't think that's a great idea.
Hold on.
Just
Let
go in
me
an angle, should be
let me
fine.
bait him.
Are we still pushing?
I don't think he can bait me from that range.
Oh yeah, you can bait him.
Okay, can we clear up our comms first? And second of all, can we figure out if we have any tanks over here still?
Yeah, let me check. Give me a second.
Oh, there's 3 mouses back here. They all bounced.
Yeah, there's one.
4
There's
mouses
one mouse.
bounced.
I can probably shoot it through the window.
Oh no, they're shooting.
Comms.
Without getting lit.
Guys, please focus on just good comms. Good day. That's all I ask.
I'm gonna try to get
That's all I
across.
ask. He's
Reloading.
moving.
We need to kill unknown one. Tell him unknown one needs to die.
All
I'm
right,
baiting all the
ready.
shots. Oh my god, I bounced 7 to him. Hello? Help me, please? Please? I'm dying!
I should have a
Hold up,
black
I will
bomb.
take shots for you, my comrade.
Guys, comms, shut up.
Bounce! Hako, move backwards.
I
Hako, move
lower up
backwards.
QB5. I'm loading HE for him.
Flax is out of the fight. There's no way he can get back.
Reloading. Damn, dude, I'm getting low rolled. Hey,
Guys,
kill
there's a
no
moss
one, kill no one. They're all
completely out of the
shooting me
fight.
right now.
Give me 5 shots. Alright.
Hey, their spotting is dead.
What's spotting? The KV5 is turbo view range. They have a Moss out of the fight.
Fine,
I
fine.
want to
Just
go
keep farming
solo
them.
that Moss.
Yeah, you want to go kill him, Brood?
Can I see if I can kill that Moss by myself? Guys, can nobody like kill him?
Just if you get on the side, he can't shoot you. You're too low. I can come with you just in case.
Yeah, let's do that.
Hako, I need lower plate protection, my dude.
He might be moving up, or he's just sitting back there.
Hako, can you like I'm
Yeah,
kinda low.
come with me.
No,
Dom.
just stay
Kill
there,
him.
stay right there, stay right there.
I'm gonna go to the A line, so if he turns to shoot you, I can just shoot him. Oh no, there he is.
They're not poking, they're not poking. There's a mouse like really far back. There's a mouse in the train station.
Yeah. One mouse over there.
Can you light him?
Oh, there's Commander J. Brood, I'm
Hey,
coming
no shot,
to you.
no
If we
shot,
can kill
no
him.
shot. We need to light the mouse in the train station. Axel, can you like poke right here and light this guy?
Stay alive, Brood. Where's he looking?
There he is. Oh, I bounced. Push forward, push forward,
I
push
got him,
forward.
I got him.
Hako,
I'm
get in front
pushing.
of me, get in front of me.
I got J smoke. I got mountains. Hey, you need to shoot him again, Rude.
Yeah,
reloading.
I'm 20 seconds out. Okay.
Nice,
I'm gonna get
nice,
shot
nice, Shotgush, nice. Easy
Can you
game.
guys need to start moving up then?
Can we?
We're going up.
Can these guys just keep moving this way so that these guys can all crossfire into this
No
guy
fire,
when he
no
moves
fire.
back?
Alright, I'm out. 10
Gonna
seconds.
kill him now.
Hako, I'm gonna go to your right. I'm gonna go to
He's
your right.
reloading
Hako.
in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'll kill him.
Alright. Oh, look at my HP. 666.
Oh, damn it.
Oh no. Should I get cap points?
Yeah, just cap for the fantasy. No one picks you anyways.
God damn it, dude.
true.
Don't meme on Rude, man. He gets enough shit as it is, man.
I
Hello?
get so much shit.
Why do
so
they want me
far.
so badly?
Because you're the pompous Magnus. They want to kill
Dude,
the
I have
German.
literally not got an average roll this entire game.
Can
Kills the
we
coon,
clear
please help.
up?
And that's top tiers comps today. Sounds like they're trying to take things seriously, but I think the rest of the team feels like they have everything well in hand.
Well, I think it's Rude just being a little bit weary, showing the experience, not letting things get ahead of themselves, and the rest of the team's kind of like, yeah, we're good. Let's just do things our way.
And let's just, ace them, because that's what top tier just did. They just aced Rival.
They had 2 mouses that still had full HP by the end of that fight.
Yeah, that little one-sided. Rival tries to bring something cute. KB5 is,
an interesting pick.
We'll say interesting. That's a little questionable is another word you could use. The armor isn't really good enough for tier 10. There's plenty of hit
The
points.
gun on it, even with the gold rounds, is like 220 pen.
It's not good at tier 10. It doesn't work out so well. It was great in 742. KB5 was a solid choice if you knew how to play it really well in that format. But now that we've moved to tier 10 and you really don't see tanks like that anymore, the KV5 is a choice that if you bring it, it's really just going to fight another tier 10. If you bring a 1390, you might face another tank somewhere on a flank that you can deal with that's at your tier, right?
Yeah.
Even against, like, if you find a 50B low health, you might be able to take him out. But a KV5 is not flexible enough or something like that. And so a KV5 pick, yeah, it gets to move all the way down, and it's annoying enough to stay alive for a while as kind of a spotter.
Well,
which
he didn't even last that long down there, though. Look, he just took a shot right there, just the corner of his turret. Didn't even hit the cupola, and took 488. So I just don't see the value in it.
It's just top tier's a tight team. They know how to play. They're better coordinated right now. Their comms discipline, even when it gets tricky, is still not bad, to be honest. And you can do all you want, but a strat like this, a layout like this from Rival wasn't probably going to work that well anyway. The crossfires weren't there. You have one single lane down the 1-2 line that you can fire. And against the lineup like what top tier brought, they just had better tanks for the situation. And so
It was a very blunt force strat by Rival that said, all right, we're going to put a bunch of mouses here. We're going to just put all our guns on target and hope that we just trade better. And we're going to have the mouse and mouse armor to hope that goes in our favor. And it just never happened because look at this top tier. all this damage they got. Even Merle getting in there with 100 fantasy points in that mouse. Akako, another 62. Just solid across the board.
Yeah, look, Pompous in a tank destroyer. He was sitting 500 meters from the next tank that he could fire at. And that's what you do with the Jagdpanzer 100. You stick it way downfield, and it gets to snipe things. And it was given exactly that scenario. It was given the perfect place to test himself out to just farm damage. And the rest of the tanks from Rival weren't able to make connections. They just didn't deal the damage they needed to. And that's just being outplayed.
Yep, I agree completely. And, you know, even Rude at the end there got in there and was getting damage against that mouse, you know, kind of exploiting the fact that it's a mouse. It's not really that mobile. And then Delth came in there, tried to clip out what was left, but he rolled low on the last couple of shots, so he wasn't able to quite pick up the kill.
Yeah, too bad right there. I did like seeing the little bit of teamwork, though, going on, where you saw 1390 take on a mouse, and then he escaped in one direction. 50B comes in from the way that the mouse isn't looking.
I had him turn, and the mouse is too slow to turn around and try to get his gun on the 50B.
Yeah.
So it was just overall, it was good coordination, good teamwork. X-Soldier was left out of the fight there for a little bit. I think he could have been a little bit more aggressive. But overall, you know, I think Top Tier did everything they needed to make that work that round.
Yeah, and we'll see how they're going to be able to do that as we move to map number 2.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
All right, Rockstar, look at these lineups. Tell me what you see.
Rival a 113, 250Bs, a mouse, 2 Batchats, and a UDIS. Executus dropping down and playing the tier 8. Definitely odd pick there, but still opting for the double 50Bs, keep that flexibility, and 2 Batchats. It's a very light lineup for Rival on Ghost Town. Meanwhile, Top Tier, a 50B, 3 mouses, a T57, a T10, and a Batchat AP.
I bet you're happy to see that T57, aren't you, Rox?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a monster of a tank. It has great DPM. It's just a matter of being put in the right situations to capitalize on it. So we'll have to see what they're able to do.
Yeah, and with the lineup that Rivals brought, 250Bs, the Batchats, aside from maybe the mouse in the wrong scenario, the T57 from Exit should have a fine time this battle.
Yep, I mean, it has heat shells for its gold round, so it's just definitely can be a little bit tricky in the wrong situations. But
and look at the mini-map, Rox. Do you see? Look at the way Rival's moving out. Their opening move is actually direct south, with the UDES going up into what looks like the traditional jump for a UDES. And then you've got a Batchat playing the flank. So I think Rival's hoping that Top Tier doesn't see what's coming and possibly gets themselves whacked. But what's the 113 from Zakum doing? He's out in the open.
He's not in the open. He's in a little low defilade where he can get up here and spot very aggressively in the south. And the guns for Rival are actually in a position to support him. So this is actually a great play from Rival. Very, very well thought out.
This isn't something we usually see. This is not where engagements normally happen.
No, they're just trying to catch out this south play. And all the guns here are ready to support them, so no matter which way they come around. Rival should be able to get some punishing shots, but look at how much HP Top Tier actually start off with over Rival in this case.
Yeah, that is certainly something to note. Rival has to catch up on about 3k HP, and Zakum actually, that 113, doesn't have a lot of solid gun depression to work with in the area that he's in, so I definitely am a little skeptical there, but this angle's proving worthwhile as there is some damage being dealt. And he's able to get into solid cover and keep his hit points alive. At the same time, look at the way Rival is reacting. Their Batchats are starting to move in, just as this engagement is happening elsewhere. We've got the heavy takes, 2 mouse and 250Bs versus a T10 50B.
And they know that the exit's just fired, so they pushed in, made sure to clean him out first. Unknown One just getting very aggressive, staying on to Rude Awakening.
And Commander J has arrived. Look at this. Unknown One, Rude Awakening like you're talking about, but now you've got a 50B helping out. Ex-Soldier, though, comes in at a good time.
And Unknown One's going to try to simp to keep Commander J alive, just get his tank out there.
Will he be able?
Some shots.
He will. He's got, although look, surprise, Aghako is going to be able to finish off Commander
and
J.
And now Delph has a new clip, so he's going to roll in there. He's going to find action. So it's going to be Ex-Soldier from behind. Picks up the kill onto Flak. And this is looking good for Top Tier. However, they're bleeding a good bit of HP.
And there, J-Smooth is now down in the 50B. 4 tanks left alive. And this one is quickly going. Well, actually, no. Am I wrong? It should be Top Tier in control, but I just looked up at the hit points, and there's a chance here for Rival.
Yeah, well, Rival, the thing is they're down by an extra gun. There's 2 one-shot tanks left alive for top tier, and another one's about to go down to Akako.
Yep, and just in time for Knight to be reloaded in the bat chat. He's going to be able to pick up a kill as Kuma's trying to escape.
A little bit sloppy there from Knight. Took a second. Took another shot that he shouldn't have. Meanwhile, Merle going to push in here in the mouse, trying to hunt down Knight. Not going to get the snap.
Oh, not quite. Not quite.
And now Rival.
Oh,
down
that
about
ex-soldier
half
bat
HP.
chat, though.
Executus doesn't have any shots on him.
Oh, Zakum's trying to close the distance, and it doesn't look like, yeah. Oh, he gets it on the move, though.
Nice snap there from Zakum.
Nice. And now 3 versus 3. 3 mouse for top tier. And Rivals.
HP heavily in favor of top tier.
Yes. And there's Zakum's actually going to get caught out. Akako getting that track shot. Zakum's actually going to burn his kit, finally. Although Pompous shows up just in time and sneaks in the kill.
Now it's just down to Knight and Executus. 2 tanks left alive for Rival. Down 4,000 HP. I don't see any way into this for him. If they were going to get into it, they need to quickly find an isolation on one of these mouses, maybe get them down, have the bad shot clip one of them out. But with all these mouses together on cap, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's pretty thin. Executus is going to decide to back off a little bit. There's 5 minutes left in the battle, so there's no way this one can go out on timer. And he's just going to slide on down. Smooth moves. As Knight gets himself towards cap. And it looks like he spots one of the mouse. Not all of them. And with 11 seconds left, I don't think they can even get there in time.
I don't think they're close enough.
Yeah, I think top tier is going to be able to cap this one out unless something crazy happens. But I don't think top tier wants to risk taking a loss, something unnecessarily, and that's going to be the cap.
Knight actually snapped a shot off through the gap, hoping to get lucky there, but didn't get the connection.
That's going to be it. Cap out, top tier, going to take another one. That's going to be a very fast 3-0 lead for top tier. We were worrying at first. We didn't know if Rival was going to be able to show up and really contest what top tier had. But right now I'm feeling confident that top tier's on their game. They may be getting a little bit loose here and there, but they're staying focused and they're pulling results.
Well, Rude's making sure to keep everyone nice and tight. You heard him during the last game about comms, guys, comms. Like, he's still trying to take it seriously. Well, even though the rest of the players on his team are kind of losing focus a little bit.
Yeah, and take a look at this engagement at the beginning of the match. This was something that we were watching that was intriguing. I saw Commander J move in a bit late, I think might be the only criticism, although he did kind of slide into the backfield at a perfect time. He just kind of found those moments when everything was open and he could just drive in.
Yeah, but the next soldier came in quickly and managed to pump out a lot of shots onto him and also picked up the kill onto Flak. So overall, it was good stuff there from X-Soldier.
Yeah, I think the HP sharing that was going on for top tier was a little more effective than was on Rival. The mouse stayed together. The sneak attack from Rival could have been more successful had, I think, there been a little bit stronger coordination.
I think the base setup play, I think, was stronger from Rival Simple Tankers. However, the brawl coordination, the focus fire, all the other things definitely went in favor of top tier that game, which is why they ended up winning it.
I agree. I agree completely with that one. That's a strong assessment. And even look at this, actually. Surprisingly enough, Unknown One in the mouse picks up 3,164, calling for his team, leading his team, making the fantasy set. This guy's on fire. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. And I think everyone's underestimating him consistently.
Yep, but even Akako and Muriel, even though they didn't do a whole lot of damage last game, they both were on cap along with Pompous here. And they all did over 70 fantasy points, so good stuff there out of those mouses that game. Did what they had to, got where they needed to be, and ended up being able to close out that game for top tier.
Exactly. So now we're going to move on to battle number 4. It's the second time we'll be on Ghost Town. We'll see if top tier wins again. That means they'll move on to Prokhorovka, where this will probably clean itself up. And don't forget, guys, you can join the conversation. Tweet at us. Let us know your thoughts about the question of the day or about really anything. We'll feature your tweets here on the broadcast if we like them at WGLNA using that hashtag WGLNA.
And let us know what you guys think is the ugliest tank.
Yep.
So I'm waiting because I know there's going to be some good answers out there. That's what I want to hear right now. I want to see what other.
I just want to roast a tank, people. Just send us a tank roast. It's all we want. We just want you to tell us why you think the mouse is whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be a bash on the tank. It's okay to be an ugly tank.
And Rival coming in here in round number 4, 250Bs, an IS-7, 2 Bat Chats, and 2 AMX 5120s.
Okay.
Meanwhile, top tier, a 50B, 2 mouses, a T57, a Type 5, a T10, and a Bat Chat AP once again.
I wonder what Rival's going for. This is very old meta kind of a strategy that we're seeing from Rival, and a very autoloader heavy lineup as well. I'm a little skeptical just because of that Rival can walk away with any kind of a win here, especially against a heavily armored lineup like this, but you know?
If it's going to work out for them, they have to find isolations early. They have to take a couple of the smaller guns down around the edge and open up the map so they can use that flexibility to really work these tanks down from top tier. If they try to play head-to-head, that's where we're going to see the shift in favor of top tier.
Yeah, if Rival can't get out of their first engagement, if they can't completely disengage, they're going to have trouble. Yeah, I agree with that. And let's see how Rival's going to be stacking up at the beginning of this battle, as they are just moving around to the south. And we're actually probably going to take a listen in with Rival as we see what they're thinking, what they're feeling as they go into battle number 4.
Not lit.
Nothing 3-4 line right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna move up exec, stay back.
Alright.
Considering they didn't bring a Utes, they probably played north.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their bad AP is like passive there. Yeah. Hey, exec, can you go like scout back here?
Sure.
Sure.
See if I can climb the little mountain, because it's fun.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like actually Rival's not too talkative today.
Yep, spirits are down. You know, they know relegation's certain at this point. Now, this is their last game in the Gold League. And so far, they don't have any reason to get excited because top tier has shut them down every step of the way.
Yep, got to give a lot of credit to top tier. They play fierce. They know how to stay focused. Well, at least we know their captain does. Rude has kept his team on point for as long as he can, and you can see the evidence in it. Top tier's done a lot of work. But Rival, that's the thing about Rival, is everyone on that lineup is someone that you've seen perform as one of the best players in the league, you know? One of those guys that's, yeah, if I had Commander J on my team, I'd be set, you know? If I had Knight, unknown one, Zakum. These guys are good players. Zakum was known for a long time as being a heavy player that wasn't necessarily a leader. He was just a good, what you call, soldier. He just did his job as a heavy.
Give him orders, you tell him what to do, he does it well.
Yeah, every time. And you could just depend on him to do that. And he was always paired with a player, Tofu Smurf, who joined High Voltage Caballers, who you might remember if you've been following the league for a little while, guys out there. Look at that shot into J-Smooth. He's in transition, but back to that. As Zakum used to have a battle buddy, and that was Tofu. And you couldn't find those two players separated on the battlefield. And when they were together, they knew exactly what they were doing. And it's those kinds of things where Rival's got a lot of solid players, but possibly because of just the dynamic of all those players, things didn't work out. Sometimes it's not the players, it's just the combination of those individuals on the same team just isn't the right mix. And well, that could be what you see with Rival, but we'll have to see what happens with a number of their players after Rival might be dissolving. And if they do, if they don't, whatever happens, I'm down for it, because J-Smooth put together a team that stayed in the league for as long as it did, and I'm sure whoever takes his place is going to try and keep the torch going.
Yep, well, we'll have to come back through the Gold League qualifiers before next season starts and try to take that spot from whoever the 7th place team is, because the 8th place slot technically goes to the 1st place Silver League team.
Yeah.
So it'll be Valence who have the option to defend their spot, which will be up against the winner of the Gold League qualifiers. So if Rival or whatever new iteration of these players decides to go through the qualifier can make it that far, they could play Valence and possibly try to get back into the league next season.
Definitely so. Now there's something I actually wanted to point out that I thought was interesting. Was I've been watching Flax POV for the past few minutes, and the way that he just kind of he just like flexes his turret around. It looks like he's constantly frustrated because he just does these little wiggles every once in a while. We'll get back to that. Knight's moving up right now for Rival into the northwest. Takes 1 shell for his trouble after taking plenty of it before that. He's down below half hit points in the bat chat. And Rival looks like Top Tier's just going to retreat off of that. They're not really concerned.
Flack taking a terrible trade there, losing almost 900 and not getting any return shots off.
He appears to be slightly frustrated. But I can't tell with him because it just looks like he likes wiggling his mouse. And speaking of mouse, looks like the Top Tier mouse have decided to move towards the number 2 cap.
This Type 5 for Top Tier rolling in here. They're trying to find the isolation onto a known one where Commander Jay, Akako, trying to side scrape, taking a shot through his
Unknown's actually
armor.
sinking those shells perfectly. Knows exactly the timing and where to place them, so good job on that. But Flack, look at that. He's down to 603 hit points. He might even go, even lower. He's down to 99 as Pompous decides to chase him out into the open. Little does he know, but there is cover fire there for Flack. And none of it is there and ready to help him out as Pompous gets a free kill, but takes some shells in his backside for his troubles. He's actually he's going to go off the cliff. He just takes a dive. That works. That's one way to get from the upper levels floor. He's a tiny bit stuck.
Oh, he had to repair his track, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to get out of there. Merle doing what he can to block for exits, who's still reloading. And now Rude's going to come in here and try to simp for him as well. Doesn't get the ramp. Unknown One picks up the kill. But then Pompous finally is loaded in time to take down Unknown One. But overall, these trades are going in favor of Top Tier very comfortably.
Very comfortably. They should be able to take this battle number 4 without too many other problems, unless we see some crazy upsets. But I'll wait. I'll wait before I make any calls on that. Looks like Zakum's going to find his engagement against Pompous. At the same time, J Smooth's got the opportunity to move in for a flank. Zakum's going to get taken down by Rude Awakening in the T10. Nicely played. And yeah, this is just Top Tier playing off of each other very well. Executus finally moving in. Might be able to get a kill, but not able to as he does a drive-by, no connection. And the last tank alive, battle number 4, is going to be Executus. That's going to be another one. Another solid play for Top Tier. They're bringing heavier lineups. The Rival wasn't able to find those isolations you were talking about. We saw things slow down, stagnate, and then the engagements happened right where Top Tier needed them to, close to their center, close to where all of their tanks were able to flex around, get into position, and help. But the Rival wasn't able to take that apart.
No, they really didn't use their mobility that they had to open up anything. I didn't see anything there from Rival outside of Knight and that bat chat flexing around in the north that really said, like, we're trying to find this isolation. They just ended up going head-to-head with a lot of these tanks after Knight took a few shots. So a little bit puzzling there from Rival.
I think the lineup itself, Rival might have known that they didn't have a good chance just with the lineup. Because note this, it's a 60-second countdown, right? You don't get to see your opponent's lineup and then decide that you want to make changes. You could try to look for some changes, and there we go. Nice connection by Maril. Type 5 able to just overkill onto Executus to finish off that one. And Top Tier has one more battle before they're able to finish out the series as a clean 5-0 sweep.
Not a whole lot to say about that. It was just decisive for Top Tier.
Yeah, the Top Tier's just outplaying Rival right now. Rival, of course, doesn't have a lot of motivation for themselves at this point. If they win, it doesn't really mean anything for them. All they do is kind of mess with Top Tier, and even then, not that much. Yeah, it's just there's not a lot in this race for Rival. They're just their final match, their final chance to put a few points on the board if they wanted to. But the thing is, they've had that much trouble up to this point. I doubt they're going to be able to just turn it completely around, especially when, well,
I mean, we did watch...
it's already in stone, Rocks. It's already made.
We did watch 07 have that 0-4 comeback against, I believe it was Aquatic M60s.
Yeah, but it looked scrappier, you know?
Yeah.
It looks much scrappier. If Rival does that, that'll be a real turnaround. And I'd love to see that, too. Because Rival has that
Well, but
potential.
we even did a brief listening with their comms, and they were just defeated already. That there wasn't any energy in their comms. They were, you know, pretty quiet, just kind of doing their thing and, you know, just seeing what happened. But it felt like they kind of already accepted the results.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think the next lineup will determine what the approach is for Rival and Top Tier. Because I still see Joe Jackie and Sublime down at the bottom. Oh, and actually, we'll get into that in a sec. Post-battle stats, Rox. We've got 3k damage by Delph. Executus, though, in that bat chat, does put up 3,100.
Yeah, and then, Merle, even in that Type 5, 2,200. 48 fantasy points. Not a whole lot of fantasy points at all this game from either team, just because of the way it played out. Not a lot of HP brought by Rival. So just, fairly status quo as you were for both teams.
And now I'm seeing, this is what I was getting at before, but now I'm seeing in the game chat, looks like Jojo Jackie and Sublime Banana are going to be moved up. And Pompous.
Muriel and Exelder.
Yeah, Muriel. Those guys are going out. For a second, I was actually kind of confused, but then I saw Fixer Reloaded was being brought in, and I realized I was thinking Jojo Jackie and Sublime up for 3 down, and I was like, wait, where's the last guy? And then I realized it's Fixer. So we're going to see people who have not played much at all this season: Sublime Banana, Jojo Jackie, and Fixer Reloaded. All 3 are players.
Fixer's had a good amount of playtime.
Yeah,
he's been the first stand-in normally for both Delph and Exits when they haven't been able to play. So he's seen a decent amount of playtime through the season. But Sublime and Jojo really haven't played much at all. So,
but Sublime, I know the way he plays. I've seen him before on the battlefield plenty of times.
Well, and he's been around for a long time
as
well.
He's an old name. So the thing is, he should perform up to par. I don't expect top tier to suffer much for that. Jojo Jackie, I can't say that I know his play style and his level of skill intimately. So he's someone that I'll have to see how he does. But this probably isn't going to be the greatest test of top tier, seeing as they're just kind of swapping out.
Yeah, and we're going to go on to Prokhorovka as our next map, which that's a map that top tier really have down to a certain extent. Looking at it, they only sit at a 50% win rate on this season, but when you compare that to rivals, they're sitting down at a 15%. So I don't really see any reason why top tier are going to struggle right now, just based upon the stats or looking at recent plays. Rival have tried, change things up a little bit, but I haven't seen anything that really shouts that it's ready. And
well, Rox, you know who is ready? You know who is ready? We're ready for battle number 5.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the center, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the center. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
And Rival showing why they have depression, because they don't have any. 5-1-2-1s, a T62A, and a WZ-132.
All right.
Meanwhile, top tier, an IS-7, a mouse, 2 bat chats, an STRV-103B, an Object 261.
What? Throwbacks.
And a 1390.
All right. So if this is going, please be going the way that I think it is. I'm just going to have to click through every single person. Yes, okay, please. This is the strat. This is the classic Rival strat. This is the way they're going to say goodbye to us right now, guys. They're going to pull something that has created some of the most fun matches and probably saved my sanity. Up and over. You're going to see all of these mediums just go straight to the middle. You're going to probably see a brawl with a follow-up. 121 J-Smooth and Zakum will get onto the high ground and kind of snipe it up. At the same time, looks like an engagement from elsewhere. Flak peeks up and over and takes a little bit. Rude Awakening is immediately evaporated in this engagement, and Commander J will start pushing more and more forward. He's going to be the one who's getting spotting damage or spotting in there so that other
he's
members...
taking 1,200 already. Executus takes another one for 407, and they're trying to return shots. They do have the kill onto that 1390 already, but HP just ever so slightly in favor of top tier. They already hasn't had any big connections. Sublime getting some shots in there. Yeah, just going back and forth, and this is starting to slip away for Rival. Commander J is down to a 1-shot. Executus down to 11. Unknown One trying to get up here to A1, trying to possibly find some shots onto that artillery.
Possibly so. If he can get to the backfield and disrupt that could be an opening, because right now, look at the hit points. Top tier's lost a decent chunk. You've lost one of your tanks on the battlefield. Rude Awakening actually takes a lot of flexibility away from top tier.
And Delph picks up the kill onto Flak with that 261.
Nicely played right there. That's what you're looking for. Although, look at this. Commander J is still alive. His ammo rack is actually damaged right now, so he's not going to be nearly as combat effective. But look at that. Unknown One is able to spot Delph. And with that,
now someone has to find the follow-up kill, because if Unknown One tries to poke over to get the shots, he'll likely take damage from a 6, and he's just going to go for it. And between him and Commander J, they pick up the kill.
Nicely played. All right, that's an Artie out, and now Oghako is burning, actually. He's on fire, burns down for under half his hit points, and then takes one more from Zakum. This could be a win for Rival, guys, right after they swap Sublime Banana and
both the Bad Chats are going to push over and find J-Smooth isolated by himself. They're going to get the kill.
Nicely played. That's flexibility right there from top tier. This shows they might still be in this if they can play their Bad Chats well, position them all right, and just keep that mobility alive. Rival is not going to be that mobile. These lineups are decently mobile, but in the current positioning, it's not that kind of a situation.
And Zakum goes down. Rival are starting to bleed HP, down to 3 tanks. Unknown One, the only healthy one, but being in a tier 8 light tank, he only has 1100 HP to start with. He's going to try to take on the STRV in the backfield. Not having any luck, though.
Knight tries to put a connection into Oghako, but not able to make that happen. And now Oghako tries to peek up, 485 into his turret. And I don't think there's going to be any real follow-up, as Exits and Unknown One down to the south are currently, well, doing that.
And Exits is able to get the kill onto Unknown One. And now it's just down to the 1-2-1s of Rival Simple Tankers. Exits is going to track Executus on the high ground and take down.
Now Knight takes down the Oghako and the Mouse. He's going to be going up against now Joe Jackie, but he takes him down. And now La Cucaracha Ciega rams him for almost all his hit points and finally gets the kill. Top tier sweeps Rival 5-0.
And with that, we say goodbye to Rival Simple Tankers and one of the longest tenures in the Gold League that we've ever had.
Yep. Much respect to you and your team, J-Smooth, everyone else out there. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be sad to see you go. And, well, top tier puts 3 points on the board. This is very important for them. They get those 3 points. If Eclipse wins later tonight,
this just puts the pressure on Eclipse just a little bit further. And
yeah,
Exits managed to pump out a lot of damage this game.
Yeah, but let's take a look at the replays. This is what Rival did. This is what they were known for. Aggressive brawling. They were the team that could brawl anyone and win. They could take the top team on and reasonably come out ahead. But
the problem was this team started expecting it. They set up for it. If you look at the setup from top tier, it was basically we're going to sit here. We know we're going to sit here. You guys have to drive at us. And they were able to just punish Rival every step of the way.
Yep, and that's top tier for you. They understand how to brawl. A lot of other teams used to not be that strong in that aspect of the game, but guess what? Everyone's come a long way, especially since we moved to tier 10s. And I have to give it to top tier. Against every strategy Rival throws, they're not too shaken. Things get a little weird sometimes, but they always seem to be able to rally and keep control. That was a problem we always noticed for Rival, is that they couldn't kind of do that follow-up. They couldn't maintain control.
Yep, and Exits 4,700 damage, 3 kills, 80 fantasy points. Zakum, top player for Rival that game in that 1-2-1, 2,700 damage, no kills for 51 fantasy points. Sublime, making one of his first appearances this season, 2,500, 70 fantasy points, strong there. And then Commander J, it wasn't able to be that effective in that T62A, just driving straight down that 6th line, got caught out. Exits was able to pump out a lot of damage.
Commander J was put in a position of spotting. He wasn't put in a position to deal much damage, so of course he kind of ended up like that. But post-match, look at that. Exits scoring some decent points.
Yeah, Delph 257, Muriel coming in there at 280. Just not a whole lot of points from this game to begin with, so definitely going to be a lackluster night. So I hope a lot of you stacked our later match, which is 07 versus Eclipse, because that's where the points are going to be tonight.
Yep, definitely be on the lookout for that. This was kind of very much along expectations, I should say.
Yeah,
5-1, 5-2, maybe.
Went pretty much how we figured it would go. It was very straightforward. Everyone from top tier was playing on point. While they were kind of goofing around to a certain extent, they were there. They were comfortable. They knew when they needed to get serious, they'd get serious, and they were able to just put their foot down on Rival and not let them into this match.
Exactly. And well, a little bit of a downer for Rival, but congratulations to top tier. They're able to keep themselves strong through their first season back in the league. The last time we saw top tier was more than it's almost 2 years ago.
Yep.
Is how old it is. So while the team name and the core being Rude Awakening has kind of been here before, this is something new, and they've managed to get all the way to the playoffs now. I won't say the finals yet, but they're getting close. And, well, they're looking good going into playoffs right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. They're going to be a strong contender. I think they can definitely take on most of these teams. The only one that I worry about is Elevate, but who's not worried about Elevate right now?
Exactly. Well, I think that's going to do it for our first match, Rival versus Top Tier. Top Tier is going to take it handily 5-0. We are going to be getting ready for the next match. That's going to be 07 versus Eclipse. While we prep ourselves, we've got this ready for you guys, so don't go anywhere. Watching the WGLNA. We'll be right back. And Nationwide has to kind of plays one-on-one games against Mr. Man. Doesn't quite get it, though. He's now diving towards Cap. Not going to get it. Even makes the jump. And boom, Nationwide has died.
And that is going to be the first game to Aquatic M60s, making the series 1-0. And look at this combination of the T95 and the IS-4, two of the most heavily armored tanks in the game. One behind the other, going straight down this one line, waiting for these bat chests to start shooting at them.
Yep, and with that, that's why the mouse are here. There are distractions so that this T95 and Vetro can get into position. It's going to be very hard for the members of DARE to figure out how to deal with this effectively. Now, they will be able to damage wallhacks in the T95, but the big question is, to DARE, can you deal more damage than you're about to take?
And getting lit up, 1,700, and he goes down. That's the first pick for Elevate.
Yep, and that's this working. That's the action that we're looking for. Yes, Wallhacks has just taken about 700, 1,000 of his hit points, but in exchange, right now, DARE is over 2,000 hit points behind Elevate, and they're just going to keep pressing forward, slow and steady. It's just all about that Doom Turtle right now.
Yep, and they're going to find the shots here onto Aggressor, doing what he can to angle his armor, taking a shot to the lower plate. He's down to a one-shot, 469. Wallhack's also a one-shot, though, on 57 HP. He bounces a shot from the mouth. Never mind, Aggressor picks it up.
That's what we're waiting for. Yes, the T95 just went down, but 2 tier 10 tanks are dead for DARE. Aggressor is about to go down, and control is right there in Elevate's hands. So, this is battle number 1. Elevate attacks with a slow and steady lineup, and it's working. Still working right now.
They have plenty of HP to play with. They're up by about 3,000, and they're chewing away at these tanks. They find the kill onto that Artie of Chase Potato. My Little Putin being focused out next, 1,400 onto him. One more shot, he's going to go down. Aggressor still alive on 29 HP.
It's like, what are they just ignoring him at this point? That's what I'm wondering. It's like Aggressor, or actually no, he's just playing incredibly well. Nice shot, Vetro gets him. I think that was that HE. Well, guess what? He's still alive, and he's behind the enemy.
15 seconds on Cap. Now he's going to have to come around the corner and get set up and snap a shot off before he goes down, because he only has 273 HP.
Yeah, well, Static is on the way. Looks like he's getting ready.
He'll try a side scrape. He has to do this perfectly. He needs one reset and then just not take any more damage at that point.
Are they just going to wait it out? Because there's 17 seconds on the clock. You reset right now. You just reset right now. And...
spotted. He gets the shot. He takes it out, and that does it.
He died at the exact same time, too. Giggles gets the kill on him.
But now Spooky has to live. 5 seconds.
4, 3. If Spooky can live, it's
2 seconds. 1. He gets the kill onto Giggles. And that's it. That's going to make it 4-2. Still in favor of M60s, but Valent's putting a point up on the board. Turns, runs, and he's safe now.
Look at this. Delph is able to just tear apart Wallhacks in the Type.
However, Nits has the 113, consistent fire, and high DPM rolling in right here. It's going to tear apart Delph. Probably take him down before he can get reloaded.
Maybe so, but looks like he's going to try and get safe. 50B moves quickly enough, so he can drive well enough.
AG shot into the engine deck of that 50B for 537.
Is there help on the way? Just in time for...
Oh, and he missed it!
That's actually going to give Delph the chance to get the kill, but not quite.
Canadian Impact comes in and helps Nits despite missing the shot. Good teamwork there from Apex.
Barely not going to do it yet. That T-54, though, from Marsh, that's
playing that really well.
It's scary. This is a rough position for a...
Now, Kyle Putin's going to find Bales. He's going to force him out, and the bats... Oh, he tracks him around the corner. Now it's a 2v1, And Malputin's going to finish this off, and now it's just down to the mouse. Malputin has full HP.
Versus a mouse.
Versus a mouse.
See, that's the tricky part. This is a Batchat versus a mouse. The Batchat can win. The Batchat, all he has to do is delay the match for the next 5 minutes. Over here.
Why is Malputin taking this now? He has to make every single one of his shots count.
I think Feel My Potato wasn't quite paying attention because it looks like he was actually caught off guard. And My Little Putin, I don't want to say that. My Little Putin is going to be able to play some turret games, and Feel My Potato just shoots the gun. He just shot a dead mouse gun.
He has to get his armor turned because he's not going to bounce anything. The heat shell's coming out of My Little Putin.
He knows this is not.
He bounced one. It's another.
I think it's over, Knox.
Nope, because he missed that one shot. Now he can't kill him.
But now he just comes back once more, and it should be done. I mean, My Little Putin has 1248.
Make this happen.
And Feel My Potato, I love this. It's like he's got like an idle animation on himself. Oh, and he's facing the right way this time. My Little Putin's going to try and move
He bounces the first. He's going to back up. It's the second.
The jukes. And Feel My Potato is turned sideways. Gets connected. My Little Putin's able to save the day, and Dare will finish out the series 5-3.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with the last game of the regular season. It will be Eclipse versus 07 Gaming.
Oh yeah, and before we jump straight into the match, we've got a few things to go over for you guys about finals, social media, and the Fantasy League. So let's start off with finals.
Yeah, finals Eventbrite page is going to be down below. You can get your tickets there. Space is unlimited. We'll have t-shirts as well as bonus codes. The Chieftain, Dance, Ute will all be there. It's going to be a great time, not to mention a whole day of Tanks action. So get your tickets, come down here. It will be in our Burbank studios in Southern California. So if you can get down here, get on out here because it's going to be fun.
It's worth it. When you have the Chieftain at the finals, there's usually a crowd around him, people just asking questions and just basking in his wisdom and knowledge.
What that man doesn't know about tanks is not worth knowing.
Well, I don't know if he would say that. I feel like he would just give us an answer like, no, there's always more. There's always more. Because he's always just searching and finding new things. He's got us that firepower book coming back and everything. I love the Chieftain.
Yep.
And if go and check him out. Come out here and meeting him. He's a great guy. But let's move on. I want to talk a little bit about Twitter. Everyone needs to join us on social media, Facebook and Twitter at WGLNA, using the hashtag WGLNA so we can take your tweets and feature them here on the broadcast, and on Facebook.com/WGLNA, where Rockstar and I go live every single broadcast to give you tips and tricks before the show about fantasy and, well, just some in-depth looks at some of the subject matter of the WGL.
Yep, definitely. And then also to remind you guys about the Fantasy League at WGL.GG/fantasy WGLNA. Pick your best starting 7. Get on there and compete with myself, Randall, the whole rest of the Gold League, as well as the ESL and Wargaming staff. Prizes for today, they're totaled for the whole week. This is also the last day that will count into the season prizes. So if you're in the hunt for that Type 59, today is the last day you have to worry about. However, on Thursday, that will count as its own week, completely separate with its own prizing. So still, get in there, set your fantasy roster for Thursday, try to earn some more gold that way.
Yep. And of course, there's one last thing for social media, and that is the question of the day. The question of today is, what is the ugliest tank in World of Tanks? My choice, as many of you may have heard earlier, is the Maushin currently, where I feel like Ford's design team in the early 2000s got a hold of the mouse plans and decided to take the same direction with the mouse as they did with the Ford Taurus. And I really don't think that it's all that sexy. But if you like curved lines and stuff, that's all you. I just don't like that whole trying to make it look sporty.
Yeah, well, and then you have my pick, the Churchill GC. Once again, just like some science project you tried to do morning of. You're like, all right, we want a bigger gun on a Churchill, so we're going to throw it on here.
We actually have one right here. We've got the
KV4 Kozlowski, the Tier 8 reward tank, and that is one hideous-looking tank. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that's a good choice right there. So keep them coming. I don't know what that answer means. Colo, you know what? I'll find out later. Maybe some of you out there can translate it. Twitch chat, have fun. All right, we're getting ready now for battle number 1. This is going to be 07 versus Eclipse. And
let's go ahead and take a look at the rosters.
Yeah, let's just start there. 07. Foss is leading them. often plays the scout. Meadowhawk, we'll probably see him on the face-off.
Yeah, and then you have Arclit, who's just stepped into this roster. I mean, we've already seen his footprints all over 07, a lot of oddball strats, being very creative with their tank choices, a lot of stuff we haven't seen out of them this season. And so they're, trying to do what they can to get in there. Remember, 07 are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs at this point. They cannot change. At this point, their sole goal is to play upset against Eclipse.
Yeah, well, same thing for Eclipse. Eclipse has got plenty to worry about as well. The previous win that Top Tier just took off of Rival means they need to win tonight. That'll do them a lot of good.
Yeah, well, a win tonight would guarantee them second place because Dare Rising are only 1 point ahead of them, so even an overtime win at this point would be enough. Looking at this roster, Ledif, who jumped over from 07, has been a real superstar this season, both for 07 and Eclipse. Tigers, who stepped back into this roster halfway through, took over the calling role and has really given this team a new direction.
Yeah, and now the maps for this series, Himmelsdorf will be starting off, 07 picking that. Ruinberg will be chosen by Eclipse, Murrow chosen by 07, and by default Prokhorovka was left over, and that was chosen then by default by Eclipse.
Yeah, Himmelsdorf, a map that Eclipse have really struggled on over the years. Earlier this season, though, they've played it a couple times and looked very well together on it. They seem to have a pretty solid idea. A couple blind rotations I didn't necessarily like too much, but
yeah,
they made it work.
Yeah, they generally find a way of making it work. Now, there's one thing about this series that I want to note. Eclipse is favored to win. They're traditionally that second-place team. They've generally held about that level of play, and so they look like they should be able to win today, jump over Dare and get second, go to the finals. But there's a big but, and that's if 07 can upset Eclipse tonight, that changes the entire playoffs.
Yeah, well, we can ask them about the playoffs right now because both captains are going to join us on our face-off.
All right. Well, gentlemen, welcome to the face-off. We have Meadowhawk repping his team. That isn't 07, but we'll get to that in a sec. And then Ledif is going to be joining us. I'm loving the contrast here. Ledif's looking all clean and tidy, and then Meadowhawk's got step and repeat and production value. And I'm liking this. We'll start off with the question of the day. Meadowhawk, first things first. Ugliest tank in World of Tanks?
Well, obviously the M6 Mutant is called the Mutant for a reason. But I'd say it's probably tied with the FV4005 because it's a box on top. Like it's ridiculously big. Like it's just no curves, no sexy lines, just a box on a tank chassis. It's terrible.
Yeah, I can feel that one. It just doesn't feel creative. Death machines are supposed to be sexy. All right, Ledif, your choice. Ugliest tank.
Yeah, I actually I had the FV4005 as well. It's not just a box; it's a porta potty. It's a tank chassis with a porta potty on it. It doesn't get much worse than that.
I mean, if there's anywhere that you're going to sit while you're shooting the gun, I mean, it makes sense, right? You've got a chair, you've got room for activities.
Long battle, I don't know.
I mean, see? Now you're thinking of the bonuses. All right. That's enough.
All right, Ledif, Eclipse, you guys, right now, Destiny's in your own hands. A win tonight, you get the second place guaranteed bye to the offline finals. What's your guys' kind of thoughts going into this match right now? Where are you guys at?
I mean, you said it. It's kind of a must-win for us. Not having to play in the online playoffs, getting to the LAN finals, no stress is really what we're going for here. It's a little bittersweet, of course. I play against 07, who I just played with this season even. But yeah, I mean, our minds are on winning for sure.
All right. Well, let's move over to Meadowhawk. We've let you sit there silently for long enough. What have you guys done to prep for this week?
Well, it's a big week. I mean, obviously everyone kind of knows that this game doesn't really mean a whole lot for us. So Fosta's really been focusing on team bonding, getting the team together, getting us working together. It's, exercises. We actually went to the Blackhawks game. Everyone sat and watched the stream. It was a great game against Nashville. They won 5-2. And, Chicago's a great team. They faced years of adversity, and their team members never left. They never left. And then they won 2 Stanley Cups. So, well, more than that, actually. I'd like to know how that kind of feels. But where was I? Oh, all right, team bonding. Okay, so, I think Fosta's real goal here is to stop Eclipse from brainwashing our members to leave. I mean, obviously, I was so happy to see Vetro and Wally and Ox, manage to get out before they drank Tiger's Kool-Aid. So, that's really great. And it's great to see Ledif, although, he's looking, he's thin. but he's looking a bit thinner. I don't know what they're feeding him over there at Eclipse other than their BS.
Oh.
But if Ledev was with us, we do pizza nights now, and everyone just orders their favorite pizza. I got Chicago with deep dish pizza. This thing is absolutely great. Look at this pizza. It's just wonderful. It's great. And so, I feel really bad because he's so skinny looking. So, you know what, Ledev? I'm going to fix this for you. Right after this face-off, I'm actually going to order you a pizza. Don't worry. It might come during the match. That's kind of a good thing for us. But it will come during the match. Don't worry about paying. Compliments of 07. Just as long as you remember that when you wake up and you smell Master People's Axe body spray, that there's always a place for you on our team.
Yeah. That was beautiful. Moving even, Meadowhawk. Like, just the level of dedication you show for your team members and former team members. Also, I think Ledev blinked twice.
I think we'll have to check the instant replay on that one.
Yeah, you can go back and check the VOD. You'll have plenty of time, right, Meadow?
Yeah, I got to eat this whole pizza during the match, so I got lots of time, yeah.
Okay, sweet. So you got this covered. All right. Any last words, Ledev?
No, shout outs to the fans. Shout outs to 07, I miss you guys, but definitely going to have to beat you tonight.
All right. Meadowhawk, your last words before I send you guys to the battlefield.
In the infamous words of Jay Smooth, Ledev, you suck!
All right, and with that, gentlemen, we will see you on the battlefield.
Oh, I love that man.
That was all about Ledev, right?
Yeah.
Because he's from Chicago.
Yeah, that was, well, it was not that he was from Chicago. He was making a dig at him leaving, that we could have done great things together if you'd stayed here and we had, built something, stayed on the same team, and Meadowhawk, showing his displeasure for Ledev getting up and leaving.
That's actually a decent thought, because the thing is, 07's done just well enough that maybe if Ledev had stayed around and 07 had, taken a few steps to improve by some grand margins, they might have actually, ended up a little bit better off than they
Wouldn't
really
it be
were.
bittersweet if 07, managed to win in the online playoffs and they go to the finals and they play Eclipse first round and they beat Eclipse? Do you know how the guys from 07 would feel if that was all to happen?
That happens if they win tonight.
Tonight doesn't matter so much because if Eclipse win, then they get second place, so that'd be live final.
Yeah, but if Eclipse loses tonight.
But they'll play top tier because top tier has the tiebreaker now.
You're right. I forgot about that part. That depended on top tier.
But if Eclipse make it to the final, well, assuming they take second place,
yeah,
and all of a sudden 07, beat that third, sixth place match, which they did last season.
Yeah, against Aquatic M60s.
Yep, and they make it to the offline regional finals.
We could have...
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say. That'd be amazing.
Because the thing is, like, this 07 Eclipse thing is going to be a rematch if we see in the playoffs. Like, there's a reasonable chance we see them play here tonight, and very, very soon we're going to see it happen right over again.
Yep. Well, let's see if 07 can play Dream Crusher as we head into our first battle of the series.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
And Rockstar for battle number 1, take a look at these lineups.
07, a 113, 3 Mouses, a Bat Chat, and 2 Type 4s. Eclipse, 3 Mouses, a Type 5, a Bat Chat AP, and a T95.
Not bad. All right, so plenty of hit points and armor from 07. A little bit of mobility in there. Arclet with that 113 is also slightly more mobile as well. And then on the side of Eclipse, we've got the T95, but we still have that mobility in the Bat Chat and the Bat Chat AP. So we're going to have to see how this one plays out. I think those Bat Chats and the AP should come into play in some significant margin, seeing as how slow the rest of the lineup is from both sides. If those tanks can play the flanks well enough, then we've got something. If not, well, we'll have to see when we get there. But opening up on this one, Dark God Zim takes a strong, aggressive run right down the 3 line, where he tries to see, is anyone from 07 going to be going up the 8 line? Are they already attacking our 2 cap? No, doesn't look like it. Dark God Zim's going to be able to back off. And at the same time, in tandem with Dark God Zim's opening scout run, Tigers in the Bat Chat heads all the way to the south on the 1-2 line, slightly west, in order to spot the most southern approach. So early vision right there going to 07, they're able to, by process of elimination, tell what their opponent is most likely doing. And I like seeing that from Eclipse. So strong start from them. You don't see quite the same play, though, coming out from 07, do you, Rox?
No, and if you look at it for a second, look at the split that they're running with right now. They have these 3 or 4 heavy tanks up on the hill, completely separated from the rest, and they're going to try to, get this cap pressure going towards the 2 cap, and then, hold on with these other tanks in the south and have coverage that way. And it may work out just because of this lineup that Eclipse are running right now with this extremely slow lineup. If they catch them in rotation like they're set up to do, this may work for 07.
Maybe. I'm wondering, because with the mouse down in the southeast hanging back, I see what you're going for. Now these Type 4s, we saw something like the Type 4 use that we're seeing right now in the previous match, Rival versus Top Tier, where the Type 4s were able to fire over this little wall, just like you're seeing, into the corners over in, that's called Alpha 5. And there's just a little cubby that you'll have to see someone hiding in. Now, if I go and check, no one from Eclipse is actually there. So the Type 4 blind fire isn't going to come into play. But it actually tells their opponent a little bit. Those 2 shells coming in is probably a huge tell. And I like this. Look at those bounces onto Major Issues, Commodore, and Anti-Pants. Nice echelon right there to get into position.
Those mouses so heavily armored, they just bounced those shots right off. Didn't even really have to angle them that well.
I do have to note, though, it did look deliberate, right? That was a very conscious move from 07.
Oh, to push them up against that wall, get in the blind spot there, yeah. Definitely, and they're getting in position to start this south cap, the 113 and mouse for 07 hanging in the south. Now these 2 batch jets are going to come around here, and they may find the isolation onto Arclet.
Maybe, but that might not. I don't think that'll be a huge factor. They can probably leave Arclet behind even and get the cap that they're looking for, because now Commodore is about to get on, and there he is. He's on cap now. And the response from Eclipse is going to be the slowest flank you've probably ever seen. And there's Commodore center screen right now. The approach is coming in from the south, and you can see the T95, T1 Diabetic is moving in with Ledev. Now, the crossfire from the 113 is going to slow that down, but you see those bat chats way backfield? Dark God Zim? Tigers? Well, Makos is the only one taking them on, and just up the road, yes, there's a mouse, but he's a little occupied. So now Arclet needs to make a decision. Am I going to back off and help against these autoloaders, or am I just going to leave Makos to die alone?
And they found Makos in this bat chat, but he takes damage from all sides, and he gets evaporated. Now Arclet's going to push in here.
And this doesn't look good for 07. Losing your bat chat like that, that's a mobility win right there for Eclipse. They're able to leave, take a little damage for their trouble, sure, but I'm not sure if that really matters. Dark God Zim's even going to be able to
snap a few shots off as he runs away.
Yep.
But they're going to be able to outrun this 113 after they picked off that bat chat. And now this is going to leave 07 in a very awkward spot.
Yeah, but the bat chats can stay just close enough to be really, really annoying. And now there's the huge move. T95 moves around, mouse and Type 5. They're going to be able to stop the cap. Support is not there for 07. There's nothing there to really help against the 2 heavy tanks and a tank destroyer from Eclipse. And, well, because of that, I don't see this fight going very far for 07. It should go into the hands of Eclipse. A little slow, but surely.
Well, and these bat chats having some really sloppy trades right now. Tiger's taking a couple shots he didn't need to, snapping some off, trying to hit that front drive wheel of Arclet, not getting the connection. T1 Diabetic getting caught on his side here from that mouse.
Yep. And, well, the Type 4s are finally getting into position I'm seeing right now. That's Fossa, it's Andy-Pans, and, well, okay, we see the T95 from T1 go down. But I guess my question now is, will this really work out? Because Andy Pans decides to move out into the open and take a risk for it. Arclet's finally getting into position. The hit points aren't really there, though, for 07.
They're going to try to group up and take out these tanks before they can flex around. Ledev takes a lot of damage, 1,400. Photo Finish picks up the kill onto Commodore, though. Mouse trying to simp here for Ledev. Ledev fires the HE shell into Arclet. Arclet's going to push around here. Gets the snap onto Ledev. Doesn't take him down, though. A little bit of a low roll for 433. Major Issues is going to come around the corner looking for the shot. Drock doing what he can to simp for Ledev, but it's only going to be a matter of time. And Arclet actually gets reloaded and picks up the kill shot. And this is looking good for Eclipse, but they're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, this can go either way, very much so. And major issues I'm expecting to go down. Arclet may be going down, but that depends on if we see a connection. Looks like Drock isn't going to go for it. Instead, Drock kills major issues. We've got Andy Pans in the Type 4 dead, and all of a sudden there are 2 tanks left alive. 407. This is Eclipse's match now. And there we go. Arclet's down. Warbander's the one left. And he's going to get no neck. All right, strong play there. But this should only be a moment or two before it's GG.
On the batch that AP is going to come in here and get in behind Warbander and get off the final damage.
Maybe, maybe not. I'm trying to see if maybe he's going to have 1 shell left, and it's going to be photo finish probably with the kill, or not. So people are bouncing. Come on, guys.
It's just a mouse, guys. Come on.
There we go. All right, Eclipse. Eclipse is able to take battle number 1 decently well, but I think you saw what I saw. 07 was still in that match.
Yeah, there was a few opportunities for them to claw back into it.
Yeah.
Eclipse kind of got caught with their pants down doing that rotation a little bit early, I think. The Bat Chats in the South, I think, played that a little bit sloppier than they should have. They weren't quite as effective with their shots.
Yeah.
Tigers missed a couple that he probably should have just held on to and kept his HP instead of trying to go for the trade. 113 hold down versus a Bat Chat, that's just not an engagement you really want to take.
And also 07 left a giant hole where the T95, the Type 5, and the Mouse came in the South. I felt like that was a glaring mistake. And this as well, where we saw Makos pinned alone. He didn't have a good position to retreat to, and the moment he decided to grab a cubby, it was probably the worst mistake he could make because of the fire coming in from the north. Because the guys from Eclipse said, wow, Batchat's exposed? I've got these huge health pool, well-armored tanks. We could probably risk it to get the kill. Focus fire, take out a Batchat? Sure. Our 2 Batchats, AP and Tier 10, will be all the better for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Eclipse took advantage of opportunity and exploited those much better than 07. 07 really didn't find great opportunities. I think what I did notice, though, was we talked about it, the way the Mouse echeloned, and it didn't just drive in a straight line, but decided to angle.
Well, they pushed against the north corner there, which they knew was the blind spot for the A4 cubby, so deliberately taking a route where they knew they'd be exposed to the guns as little as possible. So It was just a well-thought out, well-rehearsed strat from 07 getting in place, but the late game just wasn't there for him.
Yeah, and actually, we always groan at Mouse, bouncing on Mouse, but honestly, after the latest patch, the Mouse is effective. You can angle it and actually force a bounce. There's times when it's RNG to see if you pen, but look at the damage, Rocks.
Yep. Even No Nick, No Skill, 4,200, Drock, another 4,300. Warbander and Arclet, top performers, 407. Tigers on the second page there in that Bat Chat, and along with 2 Undiabetic, only got the 1 connection there onto Makos. Other than that, would have liked to see them be a little bit more effective.
Yeah, I think I can have a little bit of the same criticisms. A little just more effective with your shots, making some pens happen here and there, and then just seeing what you can do. I really thought T1 and the T95 was going to get a little bit more performance out of his tank destroyer.
Well, just because of how the other team played it, or how 7 played it, he was kind of stuck holding back a little bit. And the thing about the T95 is it's a really awkward tank. It only has the gun facing forward, so it's kind of hard to be effective in those narrow alleys.
Yeah, it's a little tricky, but we're about to get into battle number 2 on Himmelsdorf. 07's going to be defending this time, Rocks. On attack will be Eclipse. And, well, I think we can both agree this is a rather defensive-sided map, typically.
Yep, and looking at the lineups, 07, a 50B, an IS-7, a Mouse, Type 5, a JPE, an E3, and a 1390. Eclipse, a 50B, 2 Mouses, a Type 5, an E4, a Bat Chat, and a 1390.
All right, we'll have to see what these opening moves can tell us. Faust is going to go for just about the same run. Nope, he's going to actually deviate and go for a classic D-line run. Scouting safely, just taking advantage of the tiny gaps in the defensive line of his own positions to get some early spotting. And, well, he doesn't find anything yet, but he's waiting. He's trying to see if anything is going to show up on the cross. And, well, surprise, surprise, he finds another 1390, Dark God, waiting for him. And they are just now loaded in those 1390s. Fosta knew he could cross safely without risking taking fire from the 1390. and he's going to be able to back off into their own backfield behind the defensive lines. Take down that cover on Cap, always a smart play. And we've got a decent spread from 07. West side, kind of a defense. As you can see, a tank destroyer. From Eclipse, T1's going to move up to the hill. I think that indicates that in the end, the strat intends to go for the number 2 Cap, does it not? Or is that just, we know the E4 is fast enough to get around behind our opponent?
I think a lot of it comes down to trying to catch them in rotation, trying to catch tanks floating around from that 2 Cap. And so if you can poise this right, you can get attention onto that one line and then use that E4 or the bad chat in behind, open up shots along the B line and then flex it in that way, or even just leave the E4 on the hill and let them shut down the courtyard. Because one of the responses when you take a hard 1 Cap stance is the defending team will try to play heavily through that courtyard, and if you still have hill control, you can shut down a lot of the different lanes of approach that the defending team will take.
Yeah, and T1 getting into that high ground, looked for a few shells, but didn't find anything to connect onto quite yet. And he's actually going to hold back a little bit, trying not to give away his position. I don't think T1 was spotted either. So both teams still waiting around to see what intel happens. Major Issues is lit though. So that's a good tell right there. Type 5 spotted in the southwest, photo finish. And so 1-for-1 spotting, little intel back and forth. I don't think that'll make any major changes to the layout from Eclipse yet, but we're going to go ahead and actually take a listen in with Eclipse and see what's going through their minds, what's going through their comms in battle number 2.
Wait for me, wait for me, wait for me.
Okay. Have we done any damage or taken damage?
No.
No, nothing.
I mean, but look, we cannot kill 50V because they have like hell of
Can we
guys
cross
covering, so we
like
need
this? We can cross like that to kill IS-7 if we need to.
They don't have a bad shot,
and
so
then
I'm going to
cross.
rotate back and watch the south as soon as we start setting this up. I'll hold this to wait for the 50B if we can.
Zim, do we want to try and send guys across to kill IS-7, or do you want to just go for camp? Because we can. I think
crossing to kill IS-7, they'll just move their mouse to right here and just focus.
I think that we should just go for cap because I think if we cross, the mouse can move to here and get side shots. If we
They're gonna have to still move to us, like the E3 or whatever can't reset this, and we don't think they have anything there.
Yep,
I mean,
we'll
I guess
just
the
send our
E3
heavies
could
up.
be. Oh wow, okay.
Wow, okay.
Found him.
He's there to shoot crossing.
Yeah, can you get shots? Can we farm?
Did
we need to get some free shots on this.
No, he didn't fire. He did? He didn't.
No.
Did not.
50B shot 1 at me from tracks.
Let's see if we can get any
Patches,
sort
we
of
need to
free
go I
damage.
think here and clear this.
There's
Zim,
one thing not lit.
Zim, can you spot E3 again?
What's on
No,
type
he can't.
5?
He has to
Yeah,
go.
it's just
The
the
only
type
thing
I'll
that's
try to
not
check.
lit is the type 5.
Well,
so,
we
yeah.
could even send guys hill if we wanted to with their 2 TDs
They
here.
got
We could come off hill if we need
We
to.
cannot, we just need to push
Let's
banana
do it.
first.
Yeah, we just gotta go.
Let's scare them.
I'm crossing.
Can we
I'm
scare the
crossing,
E3 off?
Okay,
or
I'm
no?
crossing.
I got lit. I didn't light it. It's a 1390.
I'll try to cross.
You're gonna get type 5 probably.
I said,
I got
Yeah,
type
he
5
missed you.
shot. Type 5
Yeah,
shot.
Just
I
go.
cracked him.
Going across. That's
You
the
gonna make
90
the play?
shooting once.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Type
yeah.
5.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's a 1390 just somewhere in here spotting.
I'm just
keep
gonna
that in
move
mind.
off the hill.
Keep moving
Our
through.
foot's
The
peeking.
E3 is looking for another shot.
The mouse is looking for a shot.
Can I put
Why
frame
are we
caps?
stopping? Why are we stopping to trade with an
yes,
E3?
yes.
Because
Keep going, keep going, keep going. It's not possible.
Let it get on cap.
Negative.
Coming.
Where's type
coming
5?
up.
in spot on.
He's
I didn't
A4.
stop on purpose.
Or behind A4, like A3.
Sorry,
He's aiming down the B-line lane. He shot at
Get
B0.
on, get on caps.
I don't overstay type 5.
Type
He's
5.
not.
Okay, I'll just
He's
be
not
line.
close.
Okay,
Okay, watch out.
There's
E3's
tanks
looking
here.
at you.
Okay.
E3 just
I'm
shot.
getting on cap.
I know.
I'm gonna
E3
go.
shot.
No, Nick, just watch
Okay,
behind
Aiming
us.
here.
Watch out, Tigers. Let me.
I know.
Yeah, JP is just aiming here.
Yeah, I'm on cap.
I'm gonna protect Letif.
Alright, just hold positions. Photo, try and hold that down. And
This is gonna get my shit pinned by the Type 4. I'm
Drock,
lit.
I want you to play against.
I already got reset
that
by the Type
play
5. Type 5's in the window.
Okay.
North window. North window.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
They're gonna push this side. They're gonna push
Come
this
back
side.
uphill. Can you push this? Come back uphill. Come off.
Why?
Yeah, I'm coming
Forget
around.
about this line.
I'm moving around. I'm getting out of here.
They're gonna push this side.
Help us win this. They're gonna push the south. We need our bat chat to be playing against this.
Zim, I'm gonna be angling south.
I might
block
get shot
you.
by JP.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
block. Block
Okay,
from
let's
south.
just make sure our E4 gets a good shot in here, okay? Whenever they push up.
I didn't get like the 1390 is moved.
We
by
need
the
a better
way.
support.
Tigers, you
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, we already know
you
that.
can't go around. You're just getting a crossfire.
I'm aiming to D-line from hill, but
Tigers, you gotta back up, dude. They're just gonna push you.
Stop. I need to get a shot against this mouse. We didn't. Fuck, we're fucked, dude. Just look for a shot on the E3 when it comes around the corner if you can. I'm tucking inside. I'll still try to tuck inside.
JP shot.
Yeah.
Critical hit the JP lower plate. 1390 shot once.
mouse is aiming at me, but I mean I can shoot like when he
They will
doesn't
just
look.
push behind me.
Yeah.
Can we push these guys and go cap fast?
I'll turn.
Stroke and Tigers.
No,
D4,
stop.
can we keep
I'm not
type
looking in the right
5?
direction.
Not like
I have like 3 guys on the D-line looking at me, not doing anything
There you
other
go.
than the Type 5. Kill Makos. The other 2 aren't looking at you.
Great shot. Can we cap?
but
E3 is just
Have
down us.
time?
7 seconds.
If someone
Yeah,
gets on
yeah,
cap,
try to
we can
cap,
cap.
I don't think they.
Oh, okay, they.
Oh no.
No, we
Just
can't make
flipping
them
This is-
fucking nuts in. We couldn't make
Just
that
push north. Just push north.
Okay. And they're already on me, so
Okay, this is...
it's GG.
What happened with our tanks on the A-line? Did we just get funny?
All right. And you heard it right there, right out of Eclipse. They just called GG on it. And immediately after, you heard it, they started asking, what did we do wrong? What can we do better? What do we got to change going forward? And there, oh, look at that. Dark God Sim gets flipped on his side in 1390 by Andy Pans and completely and totally obliterated just by proximity to that tank. And, well, Ledif is the last tank alive. The little bat chat that was on the hill for a little while did what he could. And now he's going to try to see what he can do to pen a Type 5. Sitting broadside, he gets full penned and goes down. That's going to be a strong second battle for 07, bringing themselves into the series and actually putting one on the board in Himmelsdorf.
Yeah, well, I mean, Makos did work that game. It's a lot of damage he put up.
Oh, 5K in that T110 E3.
Farmed those super heavies from Eclipse. Definitely put up some good numbers.
Yeah, something I've noticed the E3 performs exceptionally well against a Type 5, whereas something like a mouse actually can risk running into tricky situations. And then what I loved seeing also was this from Dark God Zim. This is what happens when you're in a super heavy tank. You just decide, I really don't want to run a deal with big tanks, well, with little tanks. So Andy Pans can simply just actually crush the 1390 from Dark God. And there he goes. I loved seeing that. That was heavy tanks galore. I'm pretty sure you enjoyed that as a heavy tanks player.
No, definitely. It's how you deal with a small light tank that's annoying you like that. Find yourself a nice wall or something sturdy, push them up against it.
Just crush them.
Makos, 5,000 damage, 70 fantasy points. Andy Pans in that Type 5, 109 fantasy points. Got some base reset points there. At the end, JPE of Commodore, another 3K. And it drops off pretty heavily after there. Most of Eclipse not really able to get into that fight. Warbander also got some big reset points there and was able to do another 105 fantasy points himself.
So if you picked 07 today, you might be in luck, as they seem to be able to put those points on the board when needed. We're actually going to now move on from Himmelsdorf into our next city map. I know you love it, Ruinberg, which should also typically goes 1-1. But with 07 and Eclipse, one of the things that we're going to have to look at is their past performance and how they've been doing.
And if you want a series to go long, just look at this map pool. Himmelsdorf is, just went 1-1. Then we have Ruinberg, which is a 1-1 map typically. Then Prokhorovka, a 1-1 map typically. And then Prokhorovka is our last map.
Yeah, and so with that, I mean, you're right. It kind of looks like one of those.
Could be a long series.
Yeah, and you know what? While we've got a bit of time during our what could be a long series, let's talk a little bit about a question of the day one more time. Don't forget, reach out to us on Twitter, just like Mystified M with the stock ARL, without a doubt being an ugly tank. See, that's a good choice. Solid choice, because low-tier French tanks tend to have some kind of affinity with ducks, I've noticed. Have you seen that as well?
Yeah, well, and that one's just a barn. That's very similar to the 4005, just a huge turret on a weird-looking tank.
Yeah, just awkward-looking little tanks there.
The bathtub, the S35CA, little French tank destroyer, commonly known as the bathtub.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's thrown the toaster out there yet. That's also a good one.
I know it's one you don't like a whole lot.
I just think it looks silly. And then there's also some low-tier artillery
The Object 416, the Pancake.
Scrang, he's a common contributor. He's always around, so shout out to Scrang. Thank you for always reaching out to us on Twitter. And then the Mouse from... Okay, I can understand actually
Definitely
how...
not a pretty tank.
It's certainly not. It's just a giant, well-armored house.
Literally a 2-story house.
Figuratively. Or
literally.
Not literally. It's not actually a 2-story house.
It could be.
You could make it into a house. Like, in the same way that people have made, missile silos into cool apartments, you could make the Mouse.
Well, as you like to say, if you watch the Inside the Chieftain's Hatch on the Mouse,
have you seen?
There's enough room for activities inside that thing.
Yeah, there's tons of room for activities. But have you seen the actual video of the that Chieftain put out of the inside?
No, he can stand up in it and do jumping jacks. That's the problem.
Well, the thing is, he showed us how big it was inside, but it just has so much. There's so much work that needs to go into it.
Well, let's see if the teams can do enough work on our next map as we're ready to go.
Ruinberg, a mixed-type map. The defending team starts the battle on the green, and the attacking team starts at the centre square of the town. Bases are located quite far from each other. Both bases are better controlled from the village when playing a heavy setup. It's better to attack the first base through the top direction with the help of several well-armoured heavy tanks. For the attack on the second base, it's better to use a more mobile setup and either play through the centre or split forces. In general, the map is not easy to play on. Teams often use blind shots and risky shifting of the forces from one flank to another.
And here we go into battle number 3. 07 2 113s, 2 Mouses, a Batchat, and the 2 Type 4s. Eclipse, 3 Mouses, a Type 5, a Batchat, a JPE E100, and an AMX 1390.
I guess I understand with the Yagi 100, but it seems a bit slow to bring on a North Strat. Maybe it's a little easily outflanked.
Has the giant gun, though. If they can catch those tanks peeking to get the resets, he can punish them, especially if it's a couple of these Type 4s. So I think it's a plenty effective choice.
Quite possibly. T1 actually getting spotted crossing in the north over in Delta 1. Not quite quick enough to keep himself safe from being discovered. And look at that early dive in from Arclet. Look at him go. He's all the way up in the mid-road. This is really fast, actually. I'm not wanting to criticize it, but I want to just say this can work out really well for Arclet, or it might just not. It's going to put pressure on Eclipse because they know that 07 has a feeling they're going for the North Cap, right? They have an indication. Putting Arclet there puts him ever closer to successfully flanking.
No Nick, no skill. Because of Arclet's position, he might get spotted on this cross right now, even though he's taking the red line.
No, he's going to stay safe, I think. He's not spotted so far. Arclet feels like it seems like he knows that something's probably going on, but isn't quite confident. At the same time, though, you're going to see that push up into the north onto the cap, and that's 3 Mouses getting into position without too much resistance. Ledev taking some. He's about half health now, but Tigers and Drak are still relatively healthy. And Ledev was probably going to turn himself sideways, best he can, take cover, and they're going to box Dark God Zim. There we go. Dark God Zim is now safe and sound behind his wall of mouse. And we're going to see if anybody, especially these Type 4s, can splash some HE and get a reset. And Ledev is likely going down fairly soon.
Yeah, but I like this out of Eclipse just in terms of the positioning. They're actually giving Dark God Zim plenty of room, so he's not close enough to be splashed by those Type 4s. So unless Dark God Zim moves into the wrong pocket at the wrong time, he actually, I don't think, can be splashed too easily from those locations.
If a shell lands above him on the wall,
well, that's my point. That's my point. Is look at the angles. I think it'll be too far away for that to even be an option.
We'll have to see, because with 15 seconds left, well, Eclipse is about to succeed with their fast cap, and it looks like Arclet's going to decide enough is enough. We have to get in here.
Well, they need to reset Drak or Dark God Zim, and now No Nick No Skill is even going to join in the action. Try to go for some track shots.
You got to get
4 seconds on cap.
Get the track shots.
They need to find a shot. They get one onto Tigers. They find another onto Drak. Dark God Zim has the cap points.
Oh, and shifting of positions. It's going to be a huge reset. 30 seconds on the clock. And Dark God Zim finally gets reset as Tigers and Drak give ground, actually, and decide, you know what? Let's just give up on that cap. But they are going to get a kill. Commodore is going to go down. Tigers in exchange. But Makos is getting messed up for 654. Let's see what 07, what Eclipse can accomplish here.
It's going back and forth. T1 Diabetic put a shot into Makos. Follow-up shot came from one of the Mouses, and now this is looking decent for Eclipse, but HP still in favor of 07. Major Issues is committed here to the point of no return. He's going to go around, try to find the shot onto T1 Diabetic. Arclad's going to bounce the shot off of Drock. And finally, T1 Diabetic goes down, but not before putting 1,000 more HP in, or taking 1,000 more HP from Major Issues. And now the Type 4 puts another 686 into him. And this is looking good for Eclipse.
Yeah, this is not bad at all. This is something that was rough to start, but the team play, the response, the focus fire was just good enough. But nice shot by Fossa taking out Drock. Photo's going to be able to reply, and Photo's sitting at solid hit points, 2,369 still, as Dark God's going to start putting out the damage as well.
Yep, and No Nick, No Skill gets the kill onto Arclad.
Yeah, he sneaks one in there. And now Photo Finish is going to be able to just lead the way. He could 1v1 Rocks at this point. But will he need to? Probably not.
Photo puts the snap, 492. That's just going to be Rocks on 121 HP left.
I like that.
And Cap is going to actually go out for Eclipse, and that's going to make it 2-1. And an offensive victory on Ruinberg for Eclipse.
Yeah,
not bad.
We do not see that very often at all. How many, do we even see all that many offensive wins at all in Ruinberg? I think we've seen a handful. Most of the time, that strategy flops hard. Usually what ends up happening is the teams don't quite have the coordination to understand what exactly is the most appropriate course of action when you get rushed. That's when your opponent's saying, all right, let's leave our defensive positions and move out. Rox is looking up the stats right now. But this is something I had to appreciate about Eclipse. They moved Dark God in very early on, led the way, and they kept two mouse back and didn't overexpose them. They didn't let Drock and Tigers take damage unnecessarily. They let that focus onto Ledif and then just let him go down.
Yep, and looking at it, 44 games played on Ruinberg, 17 have gone to the attackers, so only a 38% win rate for the attacking side. It's the second highest defensive win rate in the league next to Muravanka, which is our next map.
Yeah, and then your wins by cap are still pretty low as well, because with Ruinberg,
five of the games are cap.
5 games are cap.
12 the kills.
That's all season.
Yeah, and only one defensive win has been by time this whole season on map. All the other 26 have all been to kills. And looking at it, Fossa in that Type 4 able to get 106 fantasy points, but T1 Diabetic, another 4K almost out of that JPE, really made that thing work. And then Photo Finish also got another 3,500, another 80 fantasy points. Rocks did decent at Tier 9. Tigers, 3,300. Not bad there from most of Eclipse.
Yeah, and I got to give a little credit to 07 for their defense. I really did feel like they chose one of the most appropriate defenses. I feel like the way they laid out their tanks once they decided that it was time to leave cover and get out in the open was one of the better, not successful this time, but better than I would have expected as far as a defense, especially with Eclipse's response. Eclipse handled themselves well. And when 07 just saw that, they could have fallen apart, right? They could have kept trying to focus fire and just gone down one by one. But they made themselves as annoying as possible, especially against T1. Yeah. Mouse versus Yagi 100, just distracting enough to kind of keep him ineffective, focusing fire on other tanks. And
yeah,
it worked
absolutely.
Out.
And the JPE, he came in late there, and he was just simply there to hold a lane, and he was able to pump out shot after shot and stay alive for a good portion of that battle. So definitely made that JP work with the way they set up that strat.
Yeah, I got to agree. That was a solid play. Now we're going to go into Ruinberg for a second time, flip it around, see what 07 is going to be able to do with their chance to attack. And Rox, take a look at these lineups and tell me what you think.
07, 2-1-13s, a Type 5, 3 Batchats, and an AMX 1390. Very mobile lineup there out of 07. Only the Type 5 is the super heavy. Meanwhile, Eclipse, a 113, a 50B, a 215B, 2 Mouses, a Tier 9 Batchat, and a T95.
T1 really enjoys that T95.
Yeah, well, him and Wallhacks both, apparently.
Yeah. And then also I like Tigers in the FE215B. Good damage output.
Yeah, I wish that was a tank we saw more often. We saw it a lot when the league first moved to Tier 10 3 seasons ago. It's kind of become a dying fade more recently, especially with the buffs they gave the 113 a year ago.
Yeah, it's usually known for its ability to just pump out damage, consistent fire. They work well in groups if you know how to play them correctly. But yeah, the armor's not really there, not as much as it could be.
Low-ish alpha, only 400, but it has extremely high DPM, and it's a laser accurate gun. It's literally one of the tanks that you can do right click, left click. You right click for auto aim at pretty much any range. You fire left, shell velocity and accuracy does the rest, and you can pump out a lot of damage.
Yep. And that's what I like seeing. Those are the kind of things where a highly coordinated team can make it work. But look at it another way, and it can be just a strong complement, a good choice of a tank to fit in with the rest of what you have.
Photo finish getting really aggressive towards the south. Going to do pretty much the same thing we saw Arclit do last game, get into this 5 line. And overall, they're all just sitting here in the low ground.
Just waiting.
Just waiting, maybe for a trap to be sprung.
It does look kind of like an ambush. If your attack is going well, it's an ambush. If it's not, well, you're in the ambush. I think that's Murphy's Law. Talked about that the other day.
Murphy's Law of combat?
Yeah. It's a long list of everything that can go wrong and why. Everyone knows it. But talk about that later. I like this distraction play from 07. You see that? Up in the north, we've got a cap starting. And I don't think Eclipse has any idea that the tanks are down in the south. They have zero indication. They only see major issues on the
Nice little bait and switch, hoping that major issues is enough of a distraction. And they're going to push in and bulk here.
The jig is up, though, and everything is spotted. Andy Pans, Megos,
But
all
these
those tanks are
Batcats
lit.
have the speed they need to take advantage of this. They've made Eclipse leave their positions, get out of position, and now these Batchats should be able to get into this village and maybe take advantage of it.
They just need to screen the cap. That's Andy Pans doing exactly what's needed. Get ahead of the cap, make it so the tanks that are left behind are able to worry about cap. The rest of your tanks can worry about damaging things that try to bypass in order to defend the cap point. However, look at Photo Finish's position. This is the most annoying position where Photo finishes. And in that mid-road, he's going to be difficult to dig out. He's going to be able to reset cap here and there, while everyone else worries about the high ground.
Yep, and he's going to pump out another shot into Arclit. Foss is even going to join them on cap. Batchats are going to hold on here. And this is the other thing to look at, though, is this misplay up in the up on the 0 line. It's going to be a bunch of Batchats scoring off versus a bunch of Mouses and a 215B. So this is not going to be something that's going to go well for him.
Yeah, especially because the 215B has ammo that counters the Batchats perfectly.
If he decides to load those Hesh shells, and damage is going to go back and forth, but at this point, 07 are down half the HP that Eclipse brought in total, so I don't see this going very well for them. Trying to pump out what damage they can, but...
They just lost all their mobility. They just threw all of their mobility against buildings, and they were hoping a screen would work out, but you can tell because of Photo Finish's position, he's able to get the resets that are crucial, and it just happens from there. Had Photo Finish not been where he is, the Batchats may have been able to hold off the assault long enough for Cap to finish. But that's not how it's going to go. Rocks, Arclit, both 113s are down. Now it's just Makos and Fosta. Fosta's down south, just getting torn apart. He goes down. Makos is last. Tries to put up a solid fight against Tigers, his, well, a Batchat's worst enemy. And you can see it right there. He goes down.
No Nick that actually picks up the kill onto Makos, making it 3-1 in favor of Eclipse.
And this is going just about along the lines of expected, but 07's putting up a decent fight. I think that last strategy, and tell me what you think, did successfully catch Eclipse off guard. It did manage to throw them off.
I think it was triggered just a little bit too soon. And the thing is about that strat is it's completely blind.
Yeah.
It just relies on timing and just pure gut calling, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing in some cases. But the problem was it didn't pull off here. If you notice, look at the positioning of the tanks. They had left the village, but they were still kind of in that middle ground. They hadn't completely gotten away. And so there was plenty of time for them to get back, drive these Mouses into the village, and come bully these Batchats out of position.
Yeah, the only thing 07 was able to get with that sneak attack was the ability to cross the open ground without paying a toll.
Yep.
They avoided paying the toll, that's fine. But you mentioned it with hit points and with armor. There's not really enough there for 07.
Well, and just look at how this engagement takes place right now. It's a bunch of Mouses point blank against a couple of Batchats. This engagement's never going to go in favor of the Batchats, no matter who's in them.
Yeah, and the thing is they can't use their mobility because once they're reloading, they can't leave.
And at this sword range, the Batchat armor is not going to do the magical stuff that we see it so often do when it's driving away.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen this time. Eclipse is ready with the response. 07, strong play, could have worked, but pulled the trigger a little too soon. I think that's a correct assessment you make. That because it was just a little sooner than it could have been.
If they had been able to get in there and really cause some damage on those tanks coming back or gotten that cap pressure or dumped onto Photo, they may have made it work. But outside of getting a free pass to that village. There was really no advantage that they gained from being there because they pushed in a little bit too early. And looking at the score here, look at all these reset points that Photo Finish got, doing 111 fantasy points, as well as being the top damage dealer for his team. And you should note this was also an ace for Eclipse, not losing a single tank this game.
Ah, that's a good note. It's definitely a good note. Because if that's an ace, that's demoralizing. You look up on the scoreboard as 07 right now, and you look at that attack just did not work, unless what we didn't hear on comms was Fosta saying, I pulled the trigger too soon. I'm sorry, guys. That was totally on me. Just don't worry about it. We're going to fix this, and we're going to move forward. That's the way I see 07 maybe having a chance. But now that we're going to Murovanka, a map which is pretty much 50-50 at this point, it's just getting that little bit closer for Eclipse.
Yep. Well, let's see if Eclipse can hold on to their lead as we head into our next battle of the series.
Murovanka, a map with a great number of buildings, bushes and trees, amongst which teams hide for most of the battle. The attacking team begins the battle from the top of the village, and the defenders start from the bottom of the map. Both bases are better controlled from the hill near the first base, and from the green in the lower left corner of the map. There are many attack directions. The attacking team often attempts to gain the attention of defenders by putting pressure on the first base, whilst manoeuvring several tanks behind the second base to deliver fire into the defending's flank. Team setups are very diverse, but the players often choose the fastest tanks, even for heavy setups. They could even bring SPGs.
Here we go into battle number 5. 07 2 Mouses, 3 batch at the TVP, and an M4043. Meanwhile, Eclipse 215B, a Type 5, 3 batch jets, an Object 430, and a AMX 1390.
And on the opening runs, we've got little scouting all across the board. Dark God looks like he's going to try and find his passive position. While we see, yep, there's Dark God going for the opening scout run. Looks like he's going to find Andy Pans. Nice tell right there. Gives a lot of info away to Eclipse that they can work with. Also spotting Fosta. Going to see maybe if some support fire comes in. There it is, 348 into Fosta. Nice, any lead you can get, right?
Exactly. You can start chipping away, especially in a 1390. It only takes another shot or two for him to lose some HP. He's actually up in a bat jet.
And I think we're going to take a listen in now with 07 on attack, see what's going through their minds as they try to take on the defense of Eclipse.
James, you have to move and do something because they have the info. They're gonna make moves now.
Let's get the mice. Let's get the mice in underneath. Yeah, let's rotate back basically.
Which bat's going on?
I'm gonna remain back here in a bush. Everyone else, we're gonna rotate back.
You want me underneath like F3?
Yeah. So like we can get one bat out wide on the C line. The TVP stays up here with the mouse.
You guys will go out wide.
I'm gonna go past it in a bush in the back here. Let's get this mouse underneath the ridge.
They might have something like F1, E1.
The other bat that's not going D line, one line is gonna like sort of push in, joining round. Okay, so yeah, one bat's going to cap, one's going here. The TVP stays back here. Capping. All right, I'm spotting out the backside here.
Yeah, I might be.
We have rocks in the cap.
Rocks is taking damage.
430 from way out wide. Okay. Maybe not quite that far, but yeah, almost. So I can't push up totally under them.
Before you get on cap, can you try to peek over the hill?
Yeah. Can we just rest with our bat, basically?
Major, what hit you?
215B right there. Sorry, I was just about to say.
Spotted.
215B down south.
Okay, Rocks, I want you to angle to cover the bat. Don't sit on cap, though. Angle to cover the bat from here. I think you can do that, actually. So just put yourself between the thin angle from out here and the reset on Andy.
Yeah.
All right?
Am I not covering you yet?
Guys, hold down to me.
They shouldn't be able to penny Rocks, basically.
Good,
okay,
but
cool.
angle so you don't get pinned. You can back
yeah,
up,
you don't want to get fucking penned, Rocks, okay?
No, I mean, do I still have enough coverage on you there?
Rocks, listen to me. Put your ass up against the hill. Your ass should be up. So turn 90 degrees to the left.
Type 5 is
here.
here. Major's taking damage from Type 5.
Type 5 is over. He's coming over.
He's moving. He's moving in.
I have to move. The Type 5 is coming.
Can you destroy the house in front of... Oh.
I'm lit.
V is coming over.
I'm switching to 215.
They have a bat all the way in the city. I have 2 bats in the city. I'm tracked. I'm gonna die.
2 bats in... Oh.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, we're flanked.
We should have spotted this. We had nothing.
I mean, they didn't go deep enough.
Can we just kill the one-line stuff?
Yeah, we have to kill one line basically.
FB's gonna kill me.
I'm gonna flex in. We have to look for draw basically, and then the type 5. It's pretty much the only play. Arclet will get pushed by something and die. Makos, are you Eclipse?
I have 4.
Okay, we gotta push underneath onto the 215 basically. Makos, you and I will push out the one line onto the photo.
Fucking.
They shoot or save all 4?
Makos, no, save 4. We're pushing now. Can we push now? Can Rox sort of engage with Andy? Andy, you're
Rox is getting punished from
Well, I can't push it. Push up.
Can you push around low then and look for photo with us?
Yeah.
No, Rox, just look at. He has to be shooting him on the side.
Getting
well,
rocked by.
Yeah, then you get pinned. I think. Yeah.
I can't just face backwards the whole match.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of options. The game's kind of over. I don't. Fuck. We just have to push basically. That's it. I mean, we can look for the type.
All right, I think we heard enough right there from 07. They've kind of realized it just as we have that this one's not going much farther. When we saw, what was it, Warbender get taken out by the flank from Eclipse, out of nowhere, he's just gone. Yep. He's only able to inform his team that he's being currently focused down. That's the extent to which he was able to do anything in the situation he was given. And then after that, Makos getting pulled out. I just gotta say, Eclipse was able to deflect every bit of aggression. They knew how to deal with everything. And 07 didn't have the tools that Eclipse had. And with I think that was a bit one-sided of a win, I'd say. 07 tried, didn't happen. Already connected a few times. You can see the damage there in the post-game rocks. What was it? 7-12.
Just that one connection on the 215B, missed the others.
Yeah,
so I think he got off in total. He fired 5 shots, only got the one connection.
Yeah, that's not the most ideal scenario for your Artie. He needed to get a few more connections, loosen things up, then follow up with a push from 07. The connections didn't happen from Artie. A little bit of that's RNG. I'll give it there. Like, you can't just expect an M40-43, but also it didn't feel like 07 was as focused on winning and in the right state of mind.
Once the TVP went down, it was kind of a tilt moment where they're like, oh, well, that was a blind spot that we didn't see, and now what? Because it was really reliant upon that TVP holding that outside angle and maybe it worked, holding it outside lanes so they can keep those mouses on cap and not get reset as easily.
Yeah, and it's just doubt. That's what happens. The moment that happens, you're sitting there, there's a bunch of unknowns. All of a sudden, what you thought may have been a solidified situation where you knew you were going to spot certain tanks, it's not happening. And then all of a sudden, boom, plans out the window.
Yep, and it took a while to get Rox in position to block for that cap. They were trying to get him turned around.
I don't think they trained Rox on what exactly he was expected to do.
Well,
there.
I'm not sure that he was expecting to play today, I think, because he's stepping in for who's normally in there for him. He's not a normal starter though, so
no, he's not.
I'd have to double check on that one.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But you're right. Rox doesn't make a lot of plays. He's usually not on the field, so that makes sense. He did what he could, but not this time. Draw cab in the FV, 3,200 hit points of damage, 127
Seems
points.
to be Swipple so far this season since starting over him.
How could I forget? How could he slip my mind? I wonder where Swipple is today. And looking at it, aside from Dark God Zim, everyone in Eclipse found their way onto the first page, so that's enough right there. And it's going to be Eclipse sitting on 4 points. This is match point. A win waiting to happen as we move on to...
However, as we touched on earlier, this is Muravanka. This is one of the most one-sided maps we have in the league right now. So Eclipse are going to have their work cut out for them to get a win on offense right now.
Yeah, if they find a way of making that happen, sure, great. Maybe a little east side, try and get the cap fast. We often don't see that succeed.
Question of the day, answer right there, the toaster. So one you already talked about earlier, definitely up there. It's the inside that counts.
That's right, Fulcrus. That's what it's about. That's why we ask these questions, people, is because we really want to get at the heart of the issue. A tank isn't ugly. A tank is beautiful on the inside. It all depends on the interior design and the situation with the chairs. Are they folding? Are they static? What's the whole deal? Is it comfy? Do you have enough headroom?
Well,
leg room.
In the most recent Chieftain's hatch on one of the new Swedish tanks, they actually gave up seats altogether and just used strap/hammocks inside the tanks just to stay comfortable.
See, these are all factors. But was that comfortable? Was that serviceable?
You'd
These
have
are
to
all
ask someone that actually sat in one.
Exactly, but there's so many different things. Not every tank is the same on the inside. Something that you don't learn until, well, you get to have a peek at the inside.
Yep, and looking at the lineups here, a Mouse, two 113s, 3 Batchets, and an RU-251 coming out of 07. Eclipse, a Mouse, a 113, an E4, 3 Batchets, and an M40-43.
And that M40-43 from Dark God Sim. Excuse me, I alt-tabbed out of my game. We're going to move on from that, though, because here we go. We're looking at Dark God Sim in that already. And he is looking middle of the map, where currently no tanks from 07 are. And it's going to get really slow, actually, Rox. You know what? I want to know what Eclipse is thinking, because they've decided to take it nice and slow. There's got to be something going on. Or they're just having a party on comms. Whichever way it is, let's go ahead and take a listen in with Eclipse.
It's the passive bush back here or something. Or it was just the RU doing a loop. Like, it's hard to say.
It might be just F2.
Yeah, it could be either.
Right,
if it was F2, I think it would have lit me though, T1. I was pretty high.
Sure,
okay. Wait. We need to protect Mouse right now.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for T1 to move.
We need T4 move
we need
here,
to get ready for
here.
and after the 113 we'll move underneath.
T1, you can start moving.
We can leave one 113 and one Batchet here, and others just cover Mouse if they will push.
Right.
Or you want all Batches here.
You want me to commit all the way across into
we need
standard
to keep
cap
people
plays,
lighting.
right?
I'll keep lighting.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
I'll stay and keep lighting.
Just be careful if they light. If they light the other bat over here, they're just probably going to
they'll push these.
Forest, so.
But he can run, but
I think the biggest
problem is they will
vulnerability
push
here is them. They can push here, easy.
As long as they can't catch east, it's not the worst.
All right, Mouse.
It's fine. We're just the guy.
8 minutes.
I'm waiting for E4 because you want the E4 to be set up.
I think our bats
and already game.
Need to stay in the city.
I don't think we need the bats.
Okay.
We're gonna bats play this. Bats play this.
If they come in like this, then the guys are already in the city.
Okay. Just do it. All batches here. All batches.
Let me know when you're aimed. T1 and Zim, and I'll move.
Bats will play this in this. Okay.
Aim G1 maybe, or just F2. I'm going now.
I'm not.
I will light in a second. I see nothing. There you go.
We're good. You can play this part of the cap too.
I'm gonna leave this spot. I'm gonna go middle. I'm leaving my spot.
Right.
I'm leaving my spot.
That's one batch lit.
Wait, why are you leaving your spot, Photo?
Because most uncap there.
No, we need you. We need you to be able to engage against stuff in the city with us. Okay, you're like your ace in the hole.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, you're in the city. Well.
You're gonna be able to bully stuff in your 113. No, you're okay. And if
because they have 2 113.
I'm just gonna be ready for them to push over 3 line. I think that's what they're gonna do. To be honest.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think they're gonna do. That's why.
Like this, all right? It's perfect.
Are you
pushing up?
Are you?
Okay.
I don't see a tank in G1.
Tigers run.
Tigers run.
I know. I'm just getting a free shot. Okay. I'm out. I'm out.
No, free shot.
Free.
Oh my God, they're all. That's okay. I'll bait them. I'm going back to A7.
Easy free shot. Well now.
I'm staying here. In church.
I'm running.
Would you say you were making plays, Tigers?
Making
plays. Alright, I'm moving up one line.
They're gonna just push us.
I'm getting up in the city.
We really need to worry about these bats.
I'm not aiming on him. Can he decap?
He did not light me.
They have one
get the most. He has to drive all the way over.
Mouse bounce me.
I'll try to shoot Mouse if he'll come.
Worried about
Are you okay, guys?
Watch truck.
I'm having trouble.
113 in middle.
Nice.
It's like fences. I can't really engage. Arclet.
He missed.
Yeah, we're banded one more batch.
I'm being set by 113.
You're trying to shoot me.
That's okay.
It's like a fence. I literally can't reset. I can't shoot Arclet.
Okay.
Don't.
I hit Mouse.
I got one shot onto Andy for you, T1, but I can't.
You guys gotta kill that 113, alright?
I can't kill the 113. I just clipped into him.
Bat behind me.
Photo.
I know, yeah.
Photo. I just clipped into him.
I missed,
so I don't have any shots.
Guys, we gotta kill this 113, okay?
Yeah, kill because
Nonix, stay alive. Nonix, stay alive.
I'm clipping.
Shot all my shots and go clip.
Yo, I'm being surrounded and killed here, so I'm gonna just.
I'm gonna help. I'll help Photo when I'm loaded.
Okay, I'll keep running.
Mako's shooting me.
I can't deal with Andy.
Oh, I'm getting shot by the mouse too. Okay. Like here.
Nice, good lights on the bat.
Basically.
I'm gonna die.
Sorry, I missed.
This packet loss is retarded too.
All right, and it looks like T1 complains of packet loss, but 07 says, try again next time. As they're going to be able to put their second point on the board in just a moment. 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the battle. And 6 tanks for 07 versus the 2 left alive from Eclipse. So, I think Eclipse sounded just about as disoriented as 07 was on their previous attack. Wouldn't you say, Rox?
Yeah, no, I'd agree. You know, Tiger's trying to make plays, but bleeding way too much HP in the process. You know, I just didn't see anything out of Eclipse there. You can kind of see what they're going for, but they were just spread way too thin. It's kind of really hard to block both the east and the west while screening that cap. You have to pick one or the other, really, and make it work. And because they spread so thin, I just didn't really leave themselves any way into that fight, as far as, you know, I could tell from that side. It was just they got spread too thin. The resets came in. They weren't able to group up, and it was 07 that made the better trades throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that one. It's also, like you mentioned, very difficult to just have a successful attack on Prokhorovka. It's difficult. You're not probably going to succeed. Just like we talked about with Ruinberg and in the past Himmelsdorf, a lot of maps are generally defensive-sided, some more than others, also very dependent on the meta. So, yeah, it makes sense that 07 is able to pick this one up. Not a huge surprise. It kind of seemed based on momentum that maybe Eclipse could do it, but now that we've got another battle, it's going to move on to Proc, where, well, to start it off, it's going to be attacking 07. 07's going to attack to start this one off, Rox. What do you think that goes? Is this going to be final battle?
It should be. This is one of Eclipse's best maps. They've always been pretty decent on Prokhorovka. They started off in their first match in the first season in the Gold League. They struggled on it early, and then the last couple of seasons since, they've been very strong on it. Had some great games on it, including against Apex in last season's finals. In 07, well, they've had some more creative ideas on it recently, especially with the E50s and whatnot. I still see Eclipse being able to edge this one out right now, making it a 5-2 series.
And look at this. A timeout is going to be called by 07. So they're going to get an extra minute to discuss their lineup, their strategy going into Prokhorovka. I think 07 might feel like they're about to come back into this one with that win. So 07, if they can take 2 wins on Prokhorovka coming up, they can go to a tiebreaker on Ghost Town and actually crush Eclipse's dreams.
And look at all these points from Arclit. 2,700 damage, 1 kill, 143 fantasy points.
You know, I watched Photo Finish. I watched a bunch of Bat Chats try to take on Arclit, and he was being a tricky little guy. He was being tricky, and he managed to mitigate quite a bit of damage. I'll even try and take a look at the details in the post-battle because, my goodness, it was 3,580 damage Arclit mitigated with his armor.
Yep, out of 13 shots hit and 8 non-pens, so not bad there.
Yeah.
Played that 113 very well, which against those Bat Chats, that sort of range is, you know, props off to him.
Yeah, and I noted this. Bat Chats were trying to engage, and you know all those little fence posts and everything that are going on in the city? Mm-hmm. Those were actually throwing off, who was that? I'm going to take a quick check, and I think it was... Who was that?
Well, it would have been only the tanks that fire the heat shells, though.
It would have been Drawcap. He didn't manage, I think, to get any damage in on him, and no damage that round, because he fired 4 shells, and that was it. And
did he have a heat clip loaded?
That's probably what it was, because the way he was firing at the 113, I play a lot of Bat Chat. I'm used to my APCR shells penning a 113 the places he was firing. He might have been firing heat. He also could have, because he was firing possibly through some of those fence posts, you lose penetration.
Yeah, but normally out of APCR at that range, it wouldn't be enough to make it so the shots don't pen, though.
But enough for maybe a 113 well-sloped, because Arclit, by the way, you know how he is. He's good at his heavy tanks. Yeah. He knows an angle. So it's an angle that, yeah, maybe you should pen if it was just APCR. But APCR, after going through a fence post, maybe that's enough to kind of set yourself just above that threshold to start bouncing.
Fair. Certainly fair.
Yeah.
So definitely something to keep an eye on there. However, we're going to go on to our next map. And as you already said, it's going to be Eclipse attacking, first off.
Sorry. I should have said 07. 07
07 attacking.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
what do 07 have to do to break this defense from Eclipse this game? What do they have to do that they haven't been doing to make this work?
Well, the thing about it is their Prokhorovka record, if I might be able to steal your notes for a moment, sir, the Proc record is not horrible, but it does need some work.
Yep.
On Proc, they've got about 54% attacking and then about 37 defending.
Right.
So they actually are attacking side at 07.
All right, we'll have to see if they can make it work on this attack as we head into our next map of the series.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
Here we go into battle number 7. 07 coming in with an IS-7, 4 Batchets, an STRV 103B, and an M4043. Meanwhile, Eclipse, an IS-7, a Mouse, Type 5, 2 Batchets, an STRV 103B, and a Lorraine 155.
I can get on board with the Type 5, actually. Type 5, as opposed to like a Mouse, makes some sense just because of the way that it can just reach out and touch something.
Well,
right.
Those HE shells, especially if they're shooting at Batchets or hold down tanks, should be pretty effective because the HE doesn't need to hit it doesn't have to penetrate to do a lot of damage. So say T fires at Rocks, who's playing that I-7 hold down, he can still do 500-600 damage to him.
Now there's another note, and I've been playing a little bit of Type 5 lately, and what I've noticed is on Prokhorovka in particular, Type 5 can go towards the middle of the map, and you can try to start sniping. The problem you have is that range to, the hill in the southeast and also in the far southwest, the typical camping positions. Firing from the middle of the map to those positions is actually just tricky enough that most of the time there was nothing more I could probably do to make my shells count. So I guess the point is, if you see a Type 5 on an open map like this, yes, the HE shells and the ability to just lob them out there seems great. What you need to pay attention to, though, is you're not accurate enough to just place shells all over the map like an artillery piece. You're going to miss a lot of shells at range, 500 plus meters, just because of your shell dispersion.
Yep. Makes sense. And No Nick making a scout run here in this Batchat, trying to spot over towards this 2-cap. Not going to find anything. And now one of the Batchats for Eclipse. It's going to be Tigers. It's going to push out in front, try to get some eyes.
Little shell comes in 564 from Dark God Zim and the Lorraine. And this is kind of what happens early on. Artie comes out, 635, right into photo finish, and we're going to see this back and forth for a minute. And back in my day, we used to do this with scouts, where they'd have to drive fast and try to avoid Artie. Now we just throw heavy tanks up there and make it an easy target for Arclit and Dark God Zim to just farm those fantasy points. The real challenge for Eclipse will be keeping their Type 5 alive a little longer than 07 can keep their IS-7 alive in the middle. If that happens, well, then Eclipse wins. If 07 can win by taking out photo finish, Artie alone probably, then maybe 07 finds a way in. But if they lose their IS-7 here, Rocks, early on to artillery, I don't see 07 finding a real way into the battle. And there we go.
Arclit looking for a shot, possibly an in, but
it's tricky. He's gonna have to go for RNG shots if he wants anything from it, and he might just go for a shot out.
One off.
Oh wow! Okay, RNG shots 489. Nice catch, Andy.
That wasn't lucky at all.
Well, that was lucky for Dark God. Lorraine 155-51 has a low arc, so you can kind of lead shots a little bit better, and it is slightly more accurate, so you can kind of flick shots at it.
Just completely re-aimed.
Yeah, that's not fun. It's not fun when you're the scout there. And well,
and 07 are just bleeding HP right now. They're down by about 3K. Andy Pants takes another shot from Drock. He's down to 804. And I don't see really any way in for this at this point for 07. Remember, 07 are the attacking team. They still have to make some sort of play here as Arclit misses a shot onto Drock. And with all this HP being bled by 07 and not really chipping away too much at Eclipse, I don't see them having many options to get into this. And Dark God Zim puts another shot into Rocks and makes that even more that 07 have lost.
Yeah, and now if you look at the positioning on the map, 07 is spread all the way from Alpha 6 down to Kilo 1. So almost completely across the map, about as far as you can put yourselves and not be able to support. If Eclipse with a faster lineup were on the battlefield, they might be able to respond appropriately. But looking at the way Eclipse is set up, 07 can get away with spreading their bat chats out a little bit and trying to maybe put some cap pressure in the east, force movement from Eclipse to respond, see what they can kind of accomplish. But we'll have to see what Eclipse decides to do, and if 07 can play it safe and not make any mistakes.
Look at this push from Eclipse. They're going to go clear the 1-2 line right now. They have everything out in force. Thais 7 is going to lead the scout run. Tigers is going to be right behind them. And they're going to push down here, and they have to try to find major issues in Mako's quickly because they're going to have the camo bonus in their favor, and Drock's going to probably take another couple shots before he's close enough to spot him.
Yep. Mako's managing not to be lit yet. He's loaded. Drawcab is, unfortunately, for 07, actually not lit anymore. Now he is. Mako should be able to get a hit. There he goes. And Andy Pans as well is in the area along with major issues. And I'm wondering how they decide to handle this and if this goes well enough. It looks like also 07, by the way, isn't going for any cap pressure. So they're actually going to decide we're just chilling out.
And HP going back and forth for these teams. Eclipse actually taking a lot more damage than they would have liked to. Mako's down to a one-shot, 70 HP. Major Issues picks up the kill onto Drock, and that's 2 tanks down now for Eclipse, and they're only up on HP by about 2,000.
Yep, this is not bad at all for 07. They can make this work, but Eclipse still has a place in this battle. We'll have to see Warband.
By having significantly more guns alive, they are bleeding HP right now. Major Issues took a big shot there a moment ago.
And I think
there's 3 one-shotters left alive.
Yeah, and I think mobility is king right now with the number of tanks on the battlefield. Just having bat chats alive right now is massive. Warbander's a one-shot, yes, but he's still got the ability to put 4 shells out likely before he goes down. At the same time, Fosta as well can be a nice distraction going in first, just keeping Tiger occupied while Warbander comes in to get the kill shot. Or maybe not. Fosta can just ram. That works too. That's totally fine.
T1 Diabetics, Permatract actually, he can't repair it, so he's stuck here, and Makos is actually going to pick up this kill.
Nicely played. Oh, a little bit of a miss right there. Follow-up's going to get it, though. Warbender gets the kill. And now his Ledif has a full health mouse, and Dark God Zim about to go down to Fosta.
And while this was looking really good for Eclipse for a short while there, 07 managed to claw this one back in. They really punished that one-line push, and Eclipse really didn't capitalize on it.
No, not at all. I think I have to give a lot more credit to 07 for playing the flex game well. For you know, like not getting bogged down, not allowing themselves to get pinned, staying mobile, not giving Eclipse an engagement they want. They took the engagements where 07 needed engagements. They did not take engagements where Eclipse wanted engagements. That's the important part here. When you've got bat chats, lighter tanks, faster tanks, you want to stay mobile. And that's the important part, and a lot of teams tend to forget that. They'll bring more mobile lineups, but then they'll get themselves caught in an engagement with heavy tanks that they otherwise have no business being there with. And sometimes you can give credit to those tanks, the heavy tank group, but in many cases there's plenty of blame to be placed on that attacking team for making the mistake in the first place.
Yep, and at this point, just down to Ledif and this mouse up against the 4 tanks from 07. They still have artillery left alive as well, so they're not going to be in any hurry.
Yeah, but with the way the mouse is, you could somehow clutch it in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could, if you were good enough, angle all day, every day, and deal enough damage to actually kill all of the tanks.
You also have to remember that Eclipse are actually defending right now, so he just has to let the 2 minutes burn down.
Yeah, there's a way he could actually win this by just living long enough, right? And there we go. Foster's going to put out the track shots, and that's probably going to do it.
He's blading HP left and right. Warbander's going to come in. Rock's going to close as well. Artie gets another shot on to Ledif. And Rox actually bounces a shot on the side of the mouse.
This is taking comically long. This is just, that's what it's like taking a mouse on. This is what I'm talking about when I say bat chats and autoloaders just aren't that effective against the mouse these days. Because really, they just struggle. They just have a rough time with it. And everyone's just bobbing around, making Ledif just suffer. The guy who left their team to join Eclipse.
And another bounce from Rocks onto Ledif. And finally, Fosta is loaded in time to clean that up. And that's going to be 4-3, but still in favor of Eclipse.
Not bad. Not bad at all. This is getting ever closer to denying Eclipse their opportunity to go to second place and make their way to the finals for free.
Yeah, they just need an overtime win.
Yeah.
Because a overtime loss would put it at would put them tied with Dare, but Dare have the tiebreaker. So they need the win in at least overtime to guarantee get that second place spot. You know, we haven't really mentioned it too much. They need the win tonight to get that second place free bye to the offline regional finals. Otherwise, they have to play again on Thursday in our online playoffs.
Yeah, that's the big question today. This is something I did not expect to have to actually meet. I know 07 is the kind of team that upsets someone right before the playoffs, like they did with Aquatic last time, but something made it seem unbelievable. It didn't seem like Eclipse was a team that would allow 07 to get a win like that. But after a rough start, 07's finding themselves back in this series. And even looking at the post-game, the S-Tank from Makos, solid play, 70% accuracy, 3,600 damage. Dark God Zim and the Lorraine 155-51 did work that battle, so did Arclet and his arty. Fosta and Warbender in their bat chats also putting up solid damage. And that Type 5 actually proving that it's no joke as well. Able to deal a respectable amount of damage.
Yep.
And so now we're getting ready to go into what could be the final battle, but we've been in what could be the final battle for now 2 battles in a row.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is the tiebreaker tonight is Ghost Town, a map that 07 have a comically bad record on.
Oh, yeah.
So 0 for 6 so far on the season, so that's not going to give them a whole lot of confidence going into that one.
Yeah, but it does mean that you can't research their strats very well because they probably throw them out the window every time.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to see what they can do as we head into our next battle here in a moment.
Yeah.
Oh, are they?
What? What do you? Yeah.
Oh, Arclet. Oh, Arclet. This is actually going to be the second time we've seen this tank tonight. And coming in here, 407, an Object 261, as well as an RU, 2 S-Tanks, and 3 Batchats. Eclipse, an IS-7, a Mouse, a Type 5, 2 Batchats, a Grill, and an RU-251. Tier 10 artillery starting to become a little bit more commonplace.
You know, the Object 261 is just one of those old choices for Prokhorovka. This is something, like, the 261 was the choice artillery 4 and 5 years ago in this game. And now we've come full circle.
Well, they introduced other arties, such as the M53-55 when they moved all their artillery up to Tier 10. And then also the addition of the Conqueror gun carriage also is a rather mean choice as well. So,
yeah. But Rockstar, for now, unless I'm seeing a DC call, which are we, or are we not? We're still going, right? Looks like T1 was reporting some packet loss. But he might be able to just
everyone
go.
else
Oh, there
is
he goes.
like it's still a game.
Yep, it's still a game. Let's take a listen in with Eclipse and see what they're up to as we get into the battle.
You got lit?
Yeah, I got lit by the RU.
Well, Nonik, what are you doing?
Who shot?
Good luck, Kodo.
We don't know where the rest of
They're
these
destroying
are,
like some shits.
Okay, I'm going through now. Crossing. Our plan is to go east, correct?
Yep.
Oh my god. Why?
The packet lost again?
Yeah. This is just so retarded. Like, this is actually pissing me off. Like, I can't go one fucking match without this game actually fucking working properly.
I mean, it's the TS and the game. It's probably your network.
It's probably a network, man.
They're knocking the shits.
Because your team speaks
I think
really
they hear, yeah.
So. Yes, I think there was 2, but I'm not. We don't know. We have no idea.
No, I just shot that.
Okay.
So the tanks and hill can shoot.
I'm not getting lit here. Like, I'm really aggressive. I'm not getting lit.
I think we should go.
They have no heavies, so I'm just gonna play a little more east. Like, I don't think I need to be right.
Okay, should I go? Am I going here?
Yeah.
Okay.
With 7? Okay.
I think they have to like trap.
Okay, are you behind low?
There's RU. He's gonna light me. Yeah.
I got lit.
I got lit.
I just stay near the track and you can stay safer from my
Move down off hill. Move down off hill. They're trying to be behind us.
I'll play against our youth.
I'm just not even gonna. I'm just gonna go like over this. I'm not gonna get in water.
But if it's gonna get into the town, Photo might try to shoot at me. This is just a mess. I'm getting into the town.
I put a shot in the RU. It's a crit though.
Wall didn't.
They're just lighting.
I didn't go all the way in water.
They're just lighting for artillery. We need to get cap pressure going. Just why don't we let them have that and just go back north?
That's what I'm doing. I'm getting the fuck out of the south. Already.
I'm
in a ping already location. 8-2.
Okay, we need to.
Let's get people on cap. Get ready to we gotta bully this. We can't play long game against this RU and shit.
Zim, can you leave from there?
Can we destroy?
Yeah, I can. I will.
Can we destroy the building?
I'll cover you.
At all bad?
Yeah. I'm bringing it down.
So I can get shots. Yeah.
Zim, go to cap, right?
Hey, I'm just gonna play north of I7. Should be fine.
They're not gonna have any tanks.
Don't know if it was AP or HE that he hit me with. I think it was AP.
I lit,
actually.
I think.
Bad.
It
was AP.
Are you?
Both bad.
They're pushing photo. They're pushing photo. Warbender's committed.
Let's get shots on those guys. Just fuck them. Warbender.
I checked major issues.
Warbender. 427, 1427.
Hey, yo, hard push.
Warbender.
It's a hard push. Just fight the bats. This is really good. What the fuck are they doing? I got kill shot. Okay.
Reloading. Get major. 509.
Just committing.
509.
Tiger's flipping one coming.
I can't hit major. I'm gonna shoot SR.
I got one more.
Major. Can somebody kill major?
Farming.
I can't hit.
I can get him in 5.
I got him.
Okay.
I'm shooting
easy shots. Whatever shots you have, guys.
I'll shoot STRV next. Are you use a one shot? If
Okay.
you kill him.
STRV's one shot. Makos is killing me.
Somebody.
I'm shooting. Can anyone finish?
Makos just. I can try.
No,
I can shoot this STRV.
I can finish. Okay. Oh my god.
All right, and there you hear it. That's Eclipse calling their focus fire, and you can see the results right now. Kills are coming in as it looks like this is about to be the final battle, Rocks. I don't see this going any other way, as it is currently 3-4.
This is going to be Eclipse guaranteeing themselves the second place spot, the free buy into our offline regional finals, which will be April 8th here in Burbank.
Yeah, it just feels prophetic. We felt like Eclipse has always been that second place team. They proved it last season with their placement. It almost seemed like they were untouchable next to every other team in the league. But this season's been closer. It's been more competitive for that second place spot. We've seen Dare put up a good fight for it, as well as Top Tier also getting into the range, as well as Aquatic M60s. 3 teams, whereas last season I would have told you no one was even close to Eclipse after you got past Apex, now known as Elevate. And with Arclet being the last tank alive in that 261, he's able to take out Ledif in the mouse. Kind of a last hurrah for his team.
Arclet put up some good damage this game. However, why they decided to go YOLO aggressive there at the end, despite having a tier 10 artillery on their team and no real cap pressure, I'm not quite sure what that decision was about.
I think that was an attempt to try and throw Eclipse off of their game, but instead it looks like it worked against them. This isn't over though. Both of these teams have a story from here, Rockstar, for Eclipse. This means that they will be jumping into second place securely. They will not be playing in the playoffs later this week. On Thursday, they will be going straight to our finals. No matches there. But for 07, they, I believe, are now going to be solidifying, and that's going to be, we'll get to the standings a little bit more detail later, but 07's going to hold their position. Nothing's going to change for them. This is just going to be business as usual. They will still go to the playoffs. They will still have one more opportunity to try and get to our finals.
And they'll be squaring off versus Dare Rising now on Thursday. And then the other match will be Top Tier versus the Aquatic M60. So make sure you guys tune in on Thursday to see that, because those online playoffs are going to be something to watch. And remember, Fantasy is also going to have its own day for that. So there's going to be a lot of prizes for Thursday as well. So this marks the end of the regular season for the Fantasy League. So when the finals are up, standings are up tonight, we'll know who the season winners are, who walks away with the Type 59s, and a whole lot of gold.
Oh, yes. And I think this is good for both teams. This is about expected. I think 07 just got a chance to show us that they actually are a dangerous team, and not to disrespect them when it comes to the playoffs, because while they may be down in 6th place right now, and they will be staying there, look at this. Rox, he just dealt 2,600 damage against Eclipse, a team that, well, is now in 2nd place and has been a dominant force. Something that you didn't expect to see in the past versus Eclipse, because the last time these teams played, It was 07 versus Eclipse was a 0-5 loss. 07 got completely wiped. So from last time to this time, they've significantly improved their gameplay.
Well, and part of that has to do with Arclet stepping into that lineup and changing things around, making it a little bit more decisive. Looking at stats on the night, no skill, 406 fantasy points.
He manages to go over 20k damage.
Arclet also put up a lot of really good points tonight. 458 fantasy points. Tigers 311. Photo Finish 360. Drock almost 400. T1 Diabetic another 350. Ledif only 260. Rather quiet night for him. Andy Pans also 365. So overall, pretty solid night for Eclipse, but 07 definitely making him work for it.
Absolutely. So a lot of respect there to Eclipse. Take a look at the fantasy points. Top scorer is going to be Arclet tonight. Behind him is Dark God Zim. If you picked him up, good for you. No Nick, no skill. One of my picks, Drock. And then look at the second page. If you picked Tigers, Aghako, Zitz, might have a chance. I got Aghako today. I feel good about that one. But with the length of this match, if you stacked 07 versus Eclipse during the Fantasy League, you were looking good.
Yeah, because that first match, there was not a whole lot of points there to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
So overall, though, it was pretty good stuff from Eclipse tonight. And we're actually going to be joined by Ledif now to talk about it.
All right, Ledif, welcome back to the broadcast, sir. We saw this match. This match went way closer than the last time we saw Eclipse versus 07 go. What do you think about that?
I mean, they definitely brought some new stuff, and they took some games. I had some difficulty one match. I had to go get a pizza at the door. I don't know.
Oh, what was that? Is deep dish pizza from Chicago?
It's not deep dish, but I don't know who sent it. It's
Would you look at that? I wonder where that came from. Eclipse, does that say sucks?
Yeah, it says sucks.
All our love. And is that an 07 symbol written on there?
Yeah, it's an 07 symbol.
Oh, I think that might be our clue.
Yeah, I'm getting an indication from that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's adorable, by the way, Ledif. Perfect, sir. For that match, for a moment, once we got past like the second half, I could say, it felt like 07 was back in the match. Was there a difference in the gameplay that you saw, or from Eclipse altogether, from the early parts in that series to later?
I mean, I think at least initially we struggled a little bit with our attacks, but we sorted it out. There were some like connection issues, I think, for T1, which made one of the games hard. So
we heard some of that actually.
I'm not sure if you were listening in.
We caught some of the saltier moments, I think, especially on Proc when.
Yeah. Proc was the difficult one for him, I think.
Yeah. How do you guys deal with that when something's going wrong and one member of your team is struggling to kind of stay even and cool-headed? What do you guys do to try and help a player with that, get it back into focus? Like,
I mean, we just told him there's nothing you can do. Like, just gotta have to play with it. Like,
deal with it.
He's in the match. It's a tank. You gotta deal with it. Basically, that's what it boils down to. It sucks. Like, we've all played with it. It's the worst because you can hit the shot and then you miss and you're like, well, this is great.
Do you usually at what point do you choose to bench a player because of connection issues?
I would say like if they're fully disconnected. In this case, like it's kind of intermittent. It's packet loss that he's having. Like you can hear his voice kind of turns into a robot. So it's hard to say. Like if you bench him, it clears up immediately. You kind of feel bad about it.
Yep. So now with that win, Ledif, this is going to be your second time heading to Burbank. Now that you guys have guaranteed second place, how does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I'm really excited to kind of get back there. Hopeful for my 07 comrades. Good luck to them. Hoping to see them again. But I'm excited to go with Eclipse. I think we have a good shot at doing well, and we got some time to prepare for it. This match was a good indicator that we have stuff to work on, so it's good.
I think that's a strong play right there. Ledif, I think you understand exactly where you guys are. I think we can definitely agree. Any final words before we let you go and celebrate with your team?
No, thanks to you guys. It's been a good season. Thanks to Eclipse doing it, and good luck to 07 on Thursday.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, Ledif. We'll see you in Burbank.
All right. Thank you.
See you then, sir. All right. We're going to have Ledif back again. Different jersey this time.
Yep.
But you know what? Now we've got a little album going. We've got one with an 07 jersey. We got one with an Eclipse jersey. Maybe if he jumps back, it doesn't matter. We don't have to reshoot it. Anything. It's great.
Yep. Well, now that we have played our last match of the regular season, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings as they sit right now.
All right. And then now you'll see that Elevate, formerly Apex, is in first place. They're going to the finals. Same with Eclipse. They've now secured second place. They're going to the finals. Dare Rising will be in third, which means they're going to play against the 6th seed, that is 07, in the playoffs. And 4th versus 5th, that's top tier versus Aquatic M60s, they will play to then take on Elevate. Dare versus 07, I believe that one is going to face against Eclipse at our finals. So you have it solidified, ladies and gentlemen. There's been all this worrying, all this theory crafting that we've done. And guess what? Tonight went just about as one could expect. Top tier 1, over rival. It makes a lot of sense based on their records and based on the general performance of the teams. Same goes for Eclipse 07. The only exception is I think 07 showed up a little bit more than we expected them to, which always goes to show don't underestimate 07 because they will treat you just like they treated Aquatic M60s at the end of last season, which is completely and totally destroy you last minute and ruin.
Dare are a team that are known to get a little bit tilty and start dropping rounds they shouldn't. So who knows what'll happen with that series? And that'll be this Thursday, same time, same place, on the same channel. So make sure you guys all tune in for that.
Absolutely. It's been a great time tonight, guys. We'll see you later this week. We are not done broadcasting yet. You can check us out later this week. Same time, same place. We're still doing the Facebook pre-show, all of that. We're also going to have the finals on April 8th. We'll have more about that coming soon. But that's it for tonight. I'm Randall Rookhill Holcomb. This is James Rockstar Grieve. And this is the WGLNA. Have a good
night, everybody.
Folks, I'm Big Dave, and when I'm not wrangling cattle, I'm right here wrangling you new deals. Now this here is a 2007 Ford Mustang, less than 100,000 miles, full leather interior, a CD player, and air conditioning. Hoo-wee! Now how about this 2005 Nissan Quest? You're on a quest for a new car. Why not this family-sized van, new paint job, new transmission, and it seats 7. Maybe not in store for something for the family? Well, I got something for you. How about this tank? Hooey! That there's 60,000 pounds of American-made steel. Now, I can't tell you what war she was in, because that's confidential. But what I can tell you is that she can get 3/4 of a mile to the gallon, and she's great for off-roading. Now, some of you may be thinking, Big Dave, what am I gonna do with the tank? Well, I say, partner, the better question is, what won't you do with the tank? Here at Big Dave's, we don't camouflage our prices. Our savings are out in the open. Cool! Now this may be something one of our competitors may try to pass off to you. Not here at Big Dave's. Here at Big Dave's, we crush the competition. We're winning the war on savings. So come on down to Big Dave's Used Car Ranch. Take the North 101, exit 48, take a left on Main, and don't stop till you see the giant tank. Cool!